After the divorce, the stunning senior sister entangled me. Li Xian was the famous leader of Tianyi Sect, but due to disagreements with his master, he retired from the world and planned to live a plain life. But who knew that after marrying a beautiful CEO for a few years, he was framed by his mother-in-law for cheating and forced to divorce. After the divorce, he stopped pretending. I am the leader of Tianyi Sect, known as the Master of Medicine. I have 100,000 disciples and countless believers. One hand gives life, the other hand gives death. 7 stunning senior sisters. Stinky brother, you are divorced, then let us marry you. Chapter 1, Framed for Cheating, the Divorce Proposal. Li Xian, you're truly shameless, hooking up with Xuan's secretary. And to have the audacity to bring her home, do you think we're all fools? Facing his mother-in-law, Zhang Huilan's furious questioning, Li Xian glanced at the woman beside him, whose clothes were in disarray, and frowned. I was just taking a nap, I didn't do anything. She barged in on her own. A joke. You barely have any clothes on and you're still claiming nothing happened. Who do you think you're fooling? Zhang Huilan raised her voice even further. I don't care what excuses you make, but I want you to divorce Xuan immediately, and leave with nothing. Li Xian sneered. So, is this your true intention? If you wanted me to divorce her, just say so. Why resort to such a vile trap? Li Xian, how dare you speak like that? Secretary Chen Shui, eyes reddened as if deeply wronged, said, it was clearly you who forced me. If I didn't sleep with you, you had the company fire me. You're despicable. His father-in-law, Zhao Renfu, darkened his face and scolded, Li Xian, you're already so vile, and yet you dare to bite back and accuse us of setting a trap. Besides, even if this incident didn't happen, you should still divorce Xuan. For the past 3 years, Xuan has worked tirelessly, rising step by step, single-handedly building Zhao Group into a star enterprise of Dongju. She's been hailed as Dongju's most beautiful CEO and has attracted countless capitalists. And what about you? Idling away, doing nothing. You haven't achieved a thing in 3 years. The difference between you and Xuan is like heaven and earth. Be honest with yourself. Do you deserve Xuan? Li Xian sneered even more coldly. You must have wanted to say these things to me for a long time, right? So what if it's true, and so what if it's not? Zhang Huilan interrupted impatiently. Someone like you, lazy and useless, only drags Xuan down. If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to stay and would have packed up and left by now. But here you are, still living off her. Seeing their faces, Li Xian didn't want to say anything more. If it's about a divorce, it's between me and Xuan. Wait until she comes back and we'll talk. No need to wait, I'm back. At that moment, a cold and proud voice, accompanied by a tall figure, came from the doorway. She wore a sharp business suit, her curves graceful, with long hair tied up, revealing a delicate and stunning face. Wherever she went, she became the focal point of attention. It was none other than the CEO of Zhao Group and Li Xian's wife Zhao Xuan. Zhao Xuan's face was expressionless, her eyes full of disgust. Li Xian, you really make me sick. My parents' opinion is my opinion. We're getting a divorce. Li Xian gritted his teeth. 3 years of relationship, and you don't even have the basic trust left. Heh, trust? How can I trust you? Zhao Xuan's tone was cold. The facts are right in front of us. Do you think my parents or my secretary are just randomly slandering you? So, you're the pathetic husband of Xuan? It's even worse than I imagined. A man in a suit, who had come back with Zhao Xuan, asked with a playful look in his eyes. I heard you haven't even shared a bed with Xuan in 3 years of marriage. What, since Xuan won't let you touch her, you went after her secretary? And who are you? What business is this of yours? Li Xian furrowed his brows, his anger building. Because he had been injured at the time and couldn't have relations, their bond had changed after he recovered. Li Xian, show some respect. Zhang Huilan immediately scolded, let me tell you, the man standing before you is Sun Mingchen, the young master of Sihai Group, worth billions. He is Xuan's best business partner. If you dare offend our esteemed guest, I won't let you off. Hey, you haven't even divorced yet and you've brought another man home. Li Xian had already heard about the closeness between the two but had refused to confirm it. Now that it was right in front of him, it made him completely disappointed and disgusted. Everyone thought Li Xian was just a lazy good-for-nothing, living off his wife. But no one knew that he was the leader of Tianyi Sect, a powerful sect with 100,000 disciples and countless followers. He controlled both life and death, known as the Divine Doctor for his unparalleled medical skills. 3 years ago, after a falling out with his master, he withdrew from the martial world in despair. He came to Dongju City, met Zhao Qingxue, and got married. Under his quiet assistance, the Zhao family had transformed from a small workshop into the current hotshot enterprise. However, driven by greed, Zhao Qingxue, his wife, gradually began to change her heart. From the sweet days of their early marriage to the cold indifference and even estrangement that followed, such is the way of the human heart. Li Xian, keep your filthy mouth shut. The man I brought back is not some random guy. Zhao Qingxue, furious, snapped. Since everything's out in the open, there's nothing to hide. If you can mess around with my secretary, I can find a boyfriend. We'll be married soon. And you? You're just a stain on my past. By the way, my mom might not know, but Sun Mingcheng is worth more than just a few billion. The Black Phoenix Consortium is about to settle in Dongju, and he has already reached a partnership with them. In the future, his net worth will increase by tenfold or even dozens of times, reaching heights you could never dream of. What? The Black Phoenix Consortium? Zhang Hualan screamed excitedly, Mingcheng, you really are amazing. Why didn't Tianyi Qingxue meet you earlier? Mingcheng, only a man like you is worthy of my daughter. Zhao Renfu's expression was equally moved. Uncle, aunt, you're all too kind. Sun Mingcheng humbly responded, though his eyes remained arrogantly upward. But some aunts are not even worth comparing to me. And when Li Xian heard the name Black Phoenix Consortium, his expression turned strange. Wasn't he that his senior sister's consortium? Could it be that his senior sister had come to Dongju? Are you sure the Black Phoenix Consortium is entering Dongju? Oh, so you know about the Black Phoenix Consortium? Sun Mingcheng raised an eyebrow. Since you know, you should understand your own position better. I not only know, but if I don't agree, you have no right to cooperate. Li Xian declared. What? What did you say? You don't agree? Sun Mingcheng looked as if he had heard the biggest joke in the world. Har har, Li Xian, don't tell me you're the owner of the Black Phoenix Consortium. That's just ridiculous. Li Xian, stop embarrassing yourself. Since no one can explain anything, just sign the divorce papers. Zhao Qingxue impatiently shouted. Qingxue, he's just making up lies to get some advantage. Sun Mingcheng took out a bank card and, looking down at Li Xian, said, It's fine, Li Xian. You've kept my wife safe for 3 years. This 2 million is for you as a reward. Just as Li Xian was about to speak, his phone suddenly rang. It was a text message, Wangshan Hotel, come see me senior sister. I have something urgent to attend to. The divorce can wait. Li Xian's eyes showed a trace of excitement as he took the bank card and tossed it into the trash. This action made Sun Mingcheng's face twitch in anger. What the hell is this? Mingcheng, don't be angry. Does he even deserve 2 million? Zhang Hualan immediately picked up the card. This Li Xian must be trying to stall Qingxue, making excuses to leave. Don't worry, I have ways to make him leave. Mingcheng, don't argue with this waste. Zhao Qingxue said coquettishly, offering comfort. Qingxue, I can't be bothered. Sun Mingcheng wrapped his arm around her waist, about to make a move when his phone rang again. Great. The head of the Black Phoenix Consortium, Feng Wang, has arrived at the airport. Let us go pick them up. Chapter 2, The Stunning Senior Sister. Dongju Airport. Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue arrived at the fastest speed possible. They adjusted their clothes and makeup, fearing any slip-ups. Qingxue, when we meet with President Ni later, don't say anything out of line. I'll handle everything, Sun Mingcheng advised. Got it, I'm not a rookie at the workplace. I know how to keep my boundaries. Zhao Qingxue nodded. I didn't expect the Black Phoenix Consortium, such a massive conglomerate, to set up in Dongju. Mingcheng, how did you get in touch with them? At the mention of this, Sun Mingcheng felt a bit uneasy. Actually, he was a bit confused himself. The Sun family's Sihai group was considered one of the top-tier enterprises in Dongju. But there were still many higher-ups above him. Moreover, he had no direct connection with the Black Phoenix Consortium. Yet, they had specifically called him and asked to collaborate. Perhaps this was the legendary stroke of luck. Sun Mingcheng thought to himself but said aloud, Qingxue, anyone who reaches the top has some luck involved, but at the end of the day, it's all about strength. Trust me, very soon, we'll be at the top of Dongju's business scene, and then we'll share the glory together. Meeting you is truly my fortune, Ming Cheng. Zhao Qingshua's face softened, her heart filled with excitement. Over the years, she had gained substantial business insight and knew the immense value of the Black Phoenix Consortium. This global money empire could change the course of her life with just a small favor. If she could cooperate with them, her future would be limitless. She not only wanted to be the #1 beautiful CEO of Dongju, but she also aimed to be the CEO of the entire Dragon Kingdom and even globally. The more Zhao Qingxue thought about it, the more she became elated. We've arrived. At this moment, a group of men and women in black suits walked out of the airport. Sun Mingcheng nervously rubbed his hands and quickly walked forward. Welcome to Dongju, representatives of the Black Phoenix Consortium. Please forgive us if we've missed anything. Who are you? The man at the front frowned slightly. Hello, I'm Sun Mingcheng, the head of High Group. We previously reached a tentative collaboration with President Ni, and I've come to welcome you. Sun Mingcheng bowed respectfully. High Group. The man thought for a moment and then said, President Ni has already left and is staying at the Wangshan Hotel. We'll discuss cooperation at a later date. Our President Ni has already left. Sun Mingcheng's face showed surprise. They had arranged for him to come and pick them up, but she had already left without notice? A sense of disappointment filled him instantly. But he quickly regained his composure, maintaining a smile. Then we'll arrange a meeting another time. I'll have everything prepared for you after your long journey. No need, we have our own arrangements. The man seemed somewhat impatient. Is there anything else? No, no more. Sun Mingcheng felt as though a cold bucket of water had been poured over him, and the eloquent speech he had prepared was now stuck in his throat. He watched as the group walked away. Zhao Qingxue became anxious. Mingcheng, what's going on? President Ni left early, and the others didn't even want to be greeted, not to mention their cold attitude. Did something happen? Sun Mingcheng was seething inside. He was just as clueless as Zhao Qingxue. He also wanted to know why the attitude of the Black Phoenix Consortium had suddenly changed so drastically. But since he had boasted earlier in front of Zhao Qingxue, he felt embarrassed to show his confusion. Qingxue, President Ni just came in from overseas, so she must have been tired after the long flight. She probably just wanted to rest in the hotel first. As for the others, well, the Black Phoenix Consortium is a renowned and prestigious organization. They have their own style of doing things and don't expect to be easily entertained. I see. No wonder it's the Black Phoenix Consortium. Zhao Qingxue nodded as though she had just understood. All right, let us head back and try to meet President Ni tomorrow instead, Sun Mingcheng suggested. Zhao Qingxue's eyes flickered. Wait a minute, didn't the people from the Black Phoenix Consortium just say that President Ni is staying at the Wangshan Hotel? How about we go visit her now? Isn't that a bit inappropriate? Sun Mingcheng hesitated. What's inappropriate? Didn't you already reach a tentative collaboration agreement? Maybe she'll think you're showing dedication. Zhao Qingxue said with confidence. Besides, business is like a battlefield. Things can change in an instant. We need to seize every opportunity to avoid any mistakes. That makes sense. Sun Mingcheng slapped his thigh. All right, let us go now. Wangshan Hotel. It was the most luxurious hotel in Dongju. In the suite, beneath the crystal chandelier, a woman in a black silk suit sat at a desk, carefully reviewing documents. Her snow-white skin gleamed under the soft lighting, crystal clear and flawless. Her exquisite curves were perfection from every angle. Combined with her enchanting yet cold face, she resembled a queen, exuding an aura that made others wary of approaching her. Senior sister. A voice broke the silence. She immediately lifted her head, and a radiant smile blossomed on her cold face. Junior brother. She practically jumped out of her chair and threw herself at him, tightly wrapping her arms around his neck. Li Xian could only feel his chest being crushed by her incredible bust. Senior sister, could you loosen up a bit? I can't breathe. You little brat. After all this time, you didn't even think to contact your senior sister. Do you know how much I've missed you? The woman pouted, acting like a jealous wife. If anyone else saw this scene, they would be absolutely stunned. The legendary Ni Feng Wang, who controlled the Black Phoenix Consortium and was as cold as frost, was showing such tender affection in front of a man. "Senior sister, how did you end up in Dongju?" Li Xian asked. "I haven't seen you in so long, so I came to check on you. I thought I'd give my sister-in-law a little surprise. But look at this pair of scumbags actually betrayed you." Ni Feng Wang sneered. Li Xian immediately understood. His senior sister had intended to support Zhao Qingxue, but she didn't want to make it too obvious. So, she tried to work through Sun Mingcheng and the collaboration as a way to help. But just at that moment, Zhao Qingxue had brought up divorce and was now with Sun Mingcheng. "Junior brother, if I hadn't been in such a hurry to see you, I really would have stayed at the airport to see what kind of woman it was that made you abandon us 7 sisters 3 years ago. Was she as beautiful as a fairy, or as stunning as a goddess?" Her tone carried deep resentment and jealousy. "Ahem, senior sister, let us not talk about that anymore. My relationship with Zhao Qingxue is over." Li Xian coughed, "And besides, I never abandoned any of you. You've always been my beloved and respected senior sisters." Li Xian had grown up with his 7 senior sisters, receiving their teachings, and they had an excellent relationship. "By the way, how are the other 6 senior sisters? Your second senior sister joined the War Department and was recently promoted as one of the top 10 war gods of the Dragon Kingdom. Your third senior sister was invited to the national government to serve as the chief imperial physician. Your fourth senior sister is on a global tour and is now an international superstar. Your fifth senior sister commands the mercenary world overseas. Your sixth senior sister has royal blood from the Yin Kingdom and will soon be in charge of the throne. Your seventh senior sister is traveling the world, mastering the sword way, aiming to be the #1 swordsman in the world." Li Xian listened, feeling gratified. It's been 3 years, and the senior sisters have all made great achievements in their respective fields. Of course, we're all from the same sect. How could we be any worse? Ni Feng Wang rolled her eyes. "We could take any one of us out, and we'd beat Zhao Qingxue hands down. Why did you end up marrying her? Here we go again. Senior sister, can we not bring her up?" Li Xian said with a bitter smile. "Then why don't you ask about old Master Yi's situation?" Ni Feng Wang squinted at him. Chapter 3, The Old War God of Dongju. Li Xian's expression darkened. Isn't he that old man always living it up? What is there to ask about? It seems you still hold a grudge against Master. Ni Feng Wang sighed. Actually, Master has his reasons. You'll understand one day. Li Xian smiled but didn't say anything. Ni Zong. At that moment, an assistant knocked on the door. Ni Zong, the person in charge of Sihai Group, Sun Mingcheng, and Zhao Qingxue, the president of Zhao Group, are here to see you. These 2 damn people really have the nerve, still thinking they can cooperate with me? Ni Feng Wang's face turned cold. Tell them to get lost. The farther, the better. Understood. Wait. Ni Feng Wang suddenly spoke up. Tomorrow, I'm hosting a birthday banquet for my younger brother. Tell them, if they want to cooperate, they can discuss it tomorrow at the banquet. Master sister, what are you? Li Xian asked in confusion. Little junior brother, these 2 have been bullying you for too long. If I let them off so easily, wouldn't it be too kind to them? I'm going to make them understand what it means to be a frog in a well. Ni Feng Wang snorted coldly. Master sister, do we really need to waste time on them? Li Xian shook his head. Ayer, little junior brother, teaching them a lesson is just a side note. It's been 3 years since I last saw you. Tomorrow is your birthday, so why not let me celebrate it with you? Ni Feng Wang pouted, hands on her hips, clearly dissatisfied. Li Xian didn't dare to offend her. All right, I'll listen to Master sister. That is more like it. Ni Feng Wang huffed, then suddenly smiled seductively, lifting the edge of her skirt. Her long, white legs stretched out, leading the gaze to an alluring sight. Li Xian's heart skipped a beat, feeling a surge of emotions. Little junior brother, I'm not wearing anything under this skirt. Ni Feng Wang's voice became soft and seductive. Since you're getting divorced from Zhao Qingxue, don't you think it's time to choose Master sister? Li Xian took a deep breath and looked away. Master sister, I'm about to get divorced. Can we please consider my feelings? I just don't want you to suffer in silence, little junior brother. I'm trying to be considerate of you. Ni Feng Wang's voice became more tempting. I heard that you haven't touched your wife for 3 years since marriage. Is that true? Master sister, you. Phut, har ha har ha, look at you. Ni Wang laughed so hard her body shook. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. Let us get down to business. Can you help me save someone? Who? Li Xian asked. The old war god of Donju. Ni Wang said. He is seriously ill, and I owe him a favor. I hope you can help him recover. Also, since I just entered Donju, having his connections will save me a lot of trouble. No problem. I have some documents I need to handle urgently, so I want to accompany you. When you're done, let us have a late night snack together. Ni Wang picked up her phone and sent the address to Li Xian. Outside the hotel, Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue were anxiously waiting. When they saw Ni Wang's assistant come out, they hurriedly asked, "How did it go?" "What did Ni Zong say?" "Ni Zong asked me to tell you that tomorrow she is hosting a birthday banquet for her younger brother. If you want to cooperate, you can discuss it there," the assistant said. Thank you. Please pass on my regards to Ni Zong." Sun Mingcheng's heart swelled with excitement. "Qingxue, looks like we were overthinking things. The cooperation is still on." Zhao Qingxue also breathed a sigh of relief, but then asked in confusion, "I never heard of Ni Zong having a younger brother. Why suddenly a birthday banquet?" "I checked the schedule, and indeed there is no mention of a younger brother. From what I know, Ni Zong has always been a lone wolf." Sun Mingcheng frowned, then suddenly slapped his thigh. "I get it now. Ni Zong is creating an opportunity for me. The birthday banquet is just a decoy. The real purpose is to discuss the cooperation." "Makes sense." Zhao Qingxue nodded approvingly. "Looks like Ni Zong really values this cooperation. After tomorrow's banquet, our names will echo through all of Donju. Qingxue, quickly, come with me." Sun Mingcheng suddenly called out. "Where to?" Zhao Qingxue asked, puzzled. "Dr. Zhu is going to see the old war god. We can join him." Sun Mingcheng said. "The old war god of Donju. What are we waiting for? Let us go." Zhao Qingxue's eyes lit up. The old war god was a veteran from the battlefield. He had truly experienced the blood and fire of war, where life and death hung in the balance. Having earned countless merits, he chose to retire and live in Donju, where his reputation was immense. Not even the top elites in Donju, let alone the aristocratic families in Kyoto, dared to act arrogantly in front of the old war god. If they could make a connection with him, their future would be limitless. At the entrance of a quiet old mansion, Li Xian knocked on the door. "Who is it?" An elderly man with graying hair and a straight back came out. "Hello, I'm Li Xian. I've come to treat the old war god, sent by my master sister Ni Wang." Li Xian said. So you're introduced by Ni girl." The old war god sized Li Xian up. "Young man, the old war god's illness is no easy matter to treat. How about you have a look and see? Over 70, with strong breath, but there is blockage and slowness. The sharp eyes and the murderous aura mixed with muddiness that is due to frostbite, causing the meridians to freeze, leading to stagnation in the qi." Li Xian smiled slightly. "You must be the old war god, right?" The old war god widened his eyes in disbelief. "How did you know?" "Through observation and inquiry, that is all," Li Xian replied. "Impressive, truly impressive." The old war god gave a thumbs up. "Li Xiao, my apologies earlier. Please, come in." They sat in the courtyard. The old war god sighed. "Li Xiao, what you said is spot on. Back in the day, I fought on the battlefield in freezing conditions, carrying on for 7 days and nights. That is when I got this illness. I've seen countless famous doctors, but nothing worked. I've got all the strength in the world, but my meridians are hardened, qi is stagnant, and I can't even take care of myself. Li Xiao, do you have a way to cure it?" "I do," Li Xian replied without hesitation. "I have a set of qi techniques that I can teach you. If you practice it daily, your qi will flow again. Over time, your hardened meridians will heal." "Really?" The old war god's face lit up with joy. "Try it and you'll know." Li Xian handed over the qi technique's manual and gave some guidance. After a while, the old war god sat cross-legged and began circulating his qi. After a full cycle, The old war god exhaled a long breath, his complexion turning red. It's working. The qi in my body is really flowing. Li Xiao, please allow this old man to bow to you. Old war god, please don't. Li Xian quickly stood and supported him. You fought for the country. Helping you is only right. Thank you, thank you. The old war god waved his hand, then suddenly asked with some embarrassment, by the way, Li Xiao, can I start smoking and drinking again? As long as it's in moderation, of course. Li Xian replied. Great. The old war god immediately jumped up. Those quack doctors wouldn't let me smoke or drink, and it nearly suffocated me. Li Xiao, I'm going to get the cigarettes and liquor. Let us have a drink together. Li Xian smiled, understanding that the old war god was craving his usual vices, and didn't he mind joining him. They shared high-end Pander cigarettes and aged Moutai liquor. The two of them took turns drinking and smoking, enjoying the moment to the fullest. Dad, I've invited Dr. Zhu. At that moment, a man pushed open the door, only to be immediately choked by the smoke and started coughing. When he saw the scene inside, he was struck by lightning and shouted angrily, Dad! What are you doing smoking and drinking? I've told you so many times these are taboos. They could kill you. Why don't you ever listen? Chapter 4, Divorce is okay, I hope you won't regret it. Get out of here, get out of here. Why can't I smoke and drink? The old war god slapped his son Chen Guodong's hand away. There is a miracle doctor here. If he says it's okay, then it's okay. Come on, Li Xiaoyu, do one. Chen Guodong then noticed Li Xian and asked in a deep voice, who are you? You bastard, what's your words? Li Xiaoyu is my lifesaver and a true genius doctor. The old war god shouted, he taught me a set of Qi Sutra, which can clear the air and restore the meridians. If it weren't for him, my disease would never be cured until I die. Qi Sutra. Chen Guodong was stunned when he heard it, and then he became more and more angry. Dad, this is all nonsense, do you think you are acting on TV? You can cure diseases by practicing a sutra casually. Besides, what kind of doctor would encourage a patient to drink and smoke? After saying that, he turned around and glared at Li Xian. Boy, you dare to deceive people and come to my War Department's family compound. You really don't know how to live or die. I will make you pay a heavy price. I'm not a liar. Li Xian frowned. I was asked to treat the old man. His qi is stagnant and his meridians are gradually frozen. You can use acupuncture to dredge the meridians, or warm up with medicine, but the effect is slow and the recovery is not thorough enough. Practicing Qigong can dredge the meridians by yourself. The meridians will have heat, and you can naturally warm up and recover. This is the best treatment. Har har, the best treatment method. Boy, you look young, but it turns out you are an old hand. You have a lot of tricks and quite a lot of arguments. Chen Guodong laughed out of anger. It's not that he didn't believe that there are many strange people and things in this world. But the Li Xian in front of him was too ridiculous in his opinion. Not reliable at all. Since you are so confident, I will ask someone to verify it with you. Let me introduce you to this Dr. Zhu. He has been immersed in medicine for decades and is a leader in the medical field of Dongju. If he can believe what you say, I will apologize to you on the spot. Commander Chen, I heard everything. This guy is talking nonsense. An old man in a long gown said with a cold face, the old war god's illness must be treated with medicine or even surgery. The so-called Qi meridian is clearly a figment of the imagination and fabricated nonsense. If it's so effective, what do we doctors do? Everyone would practice Qigong. Even if your Qi meridian is really effective, you can't trick patients into drinking and smoking. This is a disregard for human life and the physical safety of others. Boy, do you have anything else to say? Chen Guodong asked with a sneer. My words are only spoken to those who understand. Since you don't understand, there is nothing to say. Goodbye. Li Xian didn't want to argue in vain. Har har, you dare to lie to my dad and just leave like that. Chen Guodong's eyes turned cold. How can it be that easy? Asshole. The old war god was immediately anxious when he saw this. Chen Guodong, am I your father, or are you my father? I have personally tried Li Xiaoyu's Qi Sutra, it really works wonders. On the contrary, this so-called Dr. Zhu is completely clueless and self-righteous. Dad, I just don't understand what kind of magic potion this kid has given you. Chen Guodong was furious. Old god of war, a charlatan, is best at deceiving people. This guy must have used something to make you hallucinate. You must not believe it. Dr. Zhu explained. I don't care. This is my own body, and I have the final say. The old war god raised his neck. Whoever is against Li Xiaoyu is against me. Dad, you. Chen Guodong was furious, but his father was a stubborn old man. Li Xian, why are you here? At this moment, a man and a woman who had been following Dr. Zhu raised their voices of doubt. Mingcheng, Xue, do you know this person? Dr. Zhu turned and looked at them. It was Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Xue who came with them. Just now, both of them were attracted by the quarrel, and only now did they see clearly that the so-called liar was actually Li Xian. I know him, how could I not know him? Sun Mingcheng couldn't help but laugh. Divine Dr. Zhu, Commander Chen, and the old god of war. To be honest, this Li Xian is my girlfriend Xue's ex-husband. I've been married for 3 years, but I've been idle all day and have achieved nothing. He can cure diseases and is a miracle doctor. If anyone tells others about it, they will laugh at him. It's impossible. The old god of war glanced at Li Xian, then looked at Zhao Xue. Little girl, is Li Xiaoyu really your ex-husband? Old god of war, it's absolutely true. Li Xian and I have been married for 3 years, and no one knows him better than me. What he likes to do most is to idle away. He doesn't know any medical skills and has never treated anyone. Zhao Xue's words were powerful. Li Xian, I really didn't expect you to be so swindling and even fooling around like that, fooling the old god of war. I should be glad I left you, you're trash. Li Xian didn't expect to meet Zhao Xue and Sun Mingcheng here. I have seen their true faces before. Therefore, Li Xian didn't want to argue with them. Dad, you heard it all. The facts are right in front of you. You were deceived. Chen Guodong said excitedly. This. The old god of war hesitated and began to doubt himself. Could it be that Li Xian is really a liar? How can a person who has been idle and not working for 3 years after marriage be a miracle doctor? But when he practiced Qigong before, it was really effective. Dad, what are you still hesitating about? It's already like this, and you still want to believe him. Chen Guodong was furious. Forget it, just treat it as a misunderstanding and don't make things difficult for others. The old war god waved his hands, thinking that it was too early to draw a conclusion now. He would know after trying for a few more days. Huh, Li Xian, right. Only my dad doesn't bother with you. If it were someone else, you would be put in jail for life. Chen Guodong said in a muffled voice, please leave my house. Wait. At this time, Zhao Xue suddenly shouted, Commander Chen, I want you to be a witness for me. Let Li Xian sign the divorce agreement. I don't want to have anything to do with this kind of person anymore. Har, that's fine. I don't want to have anything to do with you either. Li Xian signed his name on the divorce agreement. Zhao Xue, I hope you won't regret it one day. Chapter 5, Heavenly Doctor Order. What a joke. Divorcing you is my best choice. Zhao Xue sneered and looked down on him. Xue, this guy actually signed it. I thought he was going to play tricks again. Sun Mingcheng said as he watched Li Xian's departing back. With Commander Chen in charge, he has to sign even if he doesn't want to. Zhao Xue snorted, Commander Chen, thank you for your help. It's a small matter. Chen Guodong waved his hand. Thanks to you for helping me expose Li Xian's true identity. Otherwise, my father would definitely still be kept in the dark. Dad, you can let Dr. Zhu treat you now. Didn't you say that the miracle doctor is a liar? The old war god was upset and had no good impression of Zhu the miraculous doctor. You can see it yourself if you want. Anyway, I won't see it. This. Chen Guodong was embarrassed. Dad, Dr. Zhu is a real old Taishan. He is very famous in Dongju. Most people can't invite him even if they want to. Dr. Zhu was quite unhappy with the old war god's attitude. But there's nothing we can do, since he's an old war god. Even if I am dissatisfied, I dare not show it. Commander Chen, the old god of war is not in a good mood today, so I will come back another day to consult. I have already done research on the old war god's condition and specially prepared a medicine. If you take it on time, it can stabilize the condition. As Dr. Zhu spoke, he took out a glass bottle. Dr. Zhu, you are really broad-minded. You are indeed a great doctor. Thank you very much. Chen Guodong was delighted and took it. I'll have someone transfer the consultation fee to you right away. Commander Chen, you are too polite. It will be the same next time. Dr. Zhu said politely, then we won't bother you anymore. I'll take you there, said Chen Guodong. No, no. Commander Chen, let's come back to see the old god of war next time. Zhao Qingxue seized the opportunity and said. Zhao Qingxue of the Zhao Group is known as the most beautiful CEO of Dongju. I have heard of her. Chen Guodong nodded, let's talk again if there is a chance. Zhao Qingxue was secretly happy. As long as Chen Guodong can remember it, the purpose has been achieved. First it was the Black Phoenix Group, then the relationship with the old god of war family. What a double happiness. After the group of people left, the old god of war said in a muffled voice, boy, I think these people are not good people either. When it comes to judging people, you are still a little bit behind. Dad, does that mean the person who allows you to smoke and drink is a good person? Chen Guodong was dissatisfied. At least he didn't harm me. Whether Li Xiaoyu is a liar or not is still a matter of debate. The old war god snorted, what's more, he was introduced by Ni too. Ni Feng Wang from the Black Phoenix Group. Chen Guodong didn't expect that there was such a relationship. But when he thought of Li Xian instigating the old man to drink and smoke, he became furious. It just so happens that Ni Feng Wang is holding a birthday party for her brother tomorrow, and Chen Guodong has also received an invitation. Then let's wait until tomorrow to find out what Ni Feng Wang is thinking, to let such an unreliable person treat the old man. The other side. Li Xian returned to Wangshan Hotel. Ni Feng Wang changed out of her professional long skirt and replaced it with a homely tank top and a pair of shark pants. The tight curves are displayed without reservation. Every place exudes a bewitching smell. Junior brother, you're back so soon. How's everything going? No problem. Li Xian replied. Anyway, he has already told me the method to cure the old war god disease. If the other person believes it, he will naturally recover. If you don't believe it, it depends on your own luck. I knew that if you, my junior brother, stepped in, there would be no one that could not be saved. Ni Feng Wang smiled, come on, we have been separated for so long, let's have a reunion dinner tonight and have a few drinks. Li Xian naturally had no objection. Beautiful women, fine wine, and delicious food. The air is filled with the scent of tipsiness. Junior brother, I'm drunk. Ni Feng Wang's eyes were hazy with half of her body leaning on Li Xian's chest. Junior brother, if you attack now, I won't take advantage of you. Looking at the snow-white and tall figure that was about to burst out, Li Xian felt a surge of heat in his heart. He is a man. Normal man. Faced with such temptation, how can I not have any ideas? Little junior brother, what are you waiting for? Ni Feng Wang's voice became softer and softer, if you wait for your other senior sisters to come, you won't have the chance to be alone with senior sister. Without waiting for Li Xian's response, a pair of moist red lips took the initiative to kiss him. The fire in Li Xian's heart suddenly rose up. But it was extinguished at this moment, the hairs on his body stood up and he felt cold all over. Big sister. He pushed Ni Feng Wang away. Oh. Junior brother, you. Ni Feng Wang was caught off guard and felt a little ashamed and angry at the same time. This little junior brother is going too far. She was so proactive, and not only did he refuse, he even pushed her so hard. Snap. The next moment, a bullet hole suddenly appeared on the wall. This is. Ni Feng Wang's pupils shrank. Li Xian had already turned over and jumped up, waving his arms towards the window. A silver needle flew out like a shot arrow. R. A low scream came from the building opposite. Someone is trying to assassinate me. Ni Feng Wang finally reacted and broke out in a cold sweat, it must be that bastard. I haven't even looked for him yet, but has already taken the initiative to provoke me. Junior brother, it has to be you, otherwise senior sister will be in danger tonight. Senior sister, I'm afraid your coming to Dongju is not just to visit me, right? Li Xian stared at Ni Feng Wang. Ni Feng Wang looked conflicted, hesitating to speak. It's already this critical moment, senior sister, please don't hide it from me. What happened? Li Xian said in a serious tone. Ni Feng Wang bit her lip and said word by word, not long ago, master disappeared. There is strife within the Tianyi Sect, and a traitor has appeared. Chapter 6, Internal Strife in Tianyi. Traitor? Civil unrest. Li Xian's face changed, and he immediately asked, "Senior sister, what's going on?" "Hey. It's the leader of the southern China branch of Tianyi Sect, Zhonghen." Ni Fenghuang sighed and explained, "This person is very ambitious and cunning, and it is very difficult to deal with him. I came to Dongju this time to find an opportunity to get rid of him and find the whereabouts of my master." "How did old man Yi disappear? Is it also related to this Zhonghen?" Li Xian asked with a gloomy face. "It should be, but there may be something bigger behind the master's disappearance. It should be related to your life experience." Ni Fenghuang said, "Before my master disappeared, I went back to the sect and found a mysterious person breaking in. He happened to be discovered by my good master. It's just that the mysterious man was very skilled, but he still managed to escape in the end." After a pause, Ni Fenghuang continued, "After that man escaped, Master once said that this mysterious man might be here to investigate your whereabouts. Not long after that, the master disappeared. Maybe there is some connection between them." Hearing this, Li Xian's heart suddenly tightened and he showed a look of guilt. It turned out that Li Xian took over the Tianyi Sect and became the sect master. However, Li Xian, who is in a high position, begins to secretly investigate his life experience, trying to find the whereabouts of his biological parents. When Master Yi Lao Chu learned about this, he immediately stopped Li Xian's investigation and sternly warned him not to investigate further. In the end, the two had a big fight over this matter, and Li Xian directly gave up his position as the leader of the Tianyi Sect and left the sect. This led to Li Xian coming to Dongju and meeting Zhao Qingxue and marrying her. "Master, it turns out that I was wrong about you." Li Xian showed a look of regret. He originally thought that old man Yi wanted to tie him to the Tianyi Sect forever and prevent him from looking for his past. But now it seems that his life experience may not be simple, and the consequence of a rash investigation may very well be a catastrophe. The master didn't let him investigate at the beginning, maybe he knew some inside information and stopped it for Li Xian's safety. "Brother, don't think too much. Let's work together to find a solution for master's problem." Ni Fenghuang saw Li Xian's sadness and comforted him. "The most important thing now is to resolve the internal strife in Tianyi Sect. Tianyi Sect is master's hard work. During these years when you were away, Tianyi Sect has been leaderless and in chaos." Hearing this, Li Xian's expression also became serious. Immediately, Li Xian said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, senior sister, I have nothing to worry about now. From today on, I will take charge of Tianyi Sect again. I will definitely resolve the internal strife and get Tianyi Sect back on track, and bring back the master." After saying that, Li Xian grabbed his coat and walked outside. "Brother, where are you going?" Seeing this, Ni Fenghuang was worried that Li Xian might do something out of line, so she hurriedly followed. However, Li Xian today is no longer the impulsive boy he was back then. He slowly walked to the building opposite, and then found the assassin who had just assassinated Ni Fenghuang on a hidden windowsill. At this time, the killer was already dead. There was a needle hole on his forehead, where a silver needle from Li Xian had pierced his head directly. Snort. Li Xian glanced at the corpse coldly, then took out a blood-red card from his arms and threw it next to the corpse. "Heavenly Doctor's order." Ni Fenghuang recognized at a glance that this was the Tianyi order that belonged exclusively to the leader of the Tianyi Sect, and immediately showed an excited look. Since Li Xian is willing to take out the Tianyi order, it means that he is determined to return to the Tianyi Sect. Ni Fenghuang was well aware of how evil their junior fellow apprentice was. Don't think that he is usually a taciturn person, but if he gets really serious, Li Xian will unleash terrifying abilities that will make the world tremble. Tianyi Sect is saved. Come on, senior sister, let's go back first. From now on, let me handle the affairs of Tianyi Sect. You can rest assured and take root in Dongju. I will take care of other matters." As he spoke, Li Xian's expression turned slightly cold. "And that Zhonghen, I will make him pay the price." Shortly after the two left, several figures quietly appeared beside the killer's body. When a few people saw the blood-red Heavenly Doctor order next to the corpse, they were suddenly shocked, their eyes were filled with fear, and they couldn't help but tremble a few times. "Walk." After looking at each other, they immediately lifted the body, cleaned up the scene, and left quickly. Afterwards, they brought the corpse quickly to a deep mountain and entered an ancient hall with ease. "Captain, something happened." After one of them came in, he immediately reported, "The plan to assassinate Ni Fenghuang failed, the assassin was silenced, and we also found something." At this moment, a middle-aged man sitting cross-legged in the center of the hall slowly opened his eyes after hearing the voice. This person is none other than the Tianyi Sect's branch leader, Qi Zongheng. Qi Zongheng has long hair and a deep gaze. Even when he is just sitting quietly, he exudes a murderous aura and majesty all the time. Huh? What is that? Qi Zongheng's voice came. Yes, the heavenly doctor's order, the subordinate stammered, then took out the red card. What? Qi Zongheng's voice changed instantly, and a hint of fear flashed in his eyes. Call out. He just stretched out his hand and the blood-red card flew into his hand. It is indeed the heavenly doctor's order. Qi Zongheng's eyes flickered. Could it be that that person has returned? It can't be such a coincidence, right? Feeling the change in Qi Zongheng's momentum, the subordinates below trembled in fear and dared not say a word. Humph. So what if he comes back? It's been 3 years, and I've already won the battle. Pass the order to me, I must see Enifeng Wang's body within 3 days, no mistake. Qi Zongheng shouted. Yes. Captain. The subordinates responded quickly. However, after his men left, Qi Zongheng still stared at the heavenly doctor order in his hand for a long time without saying a word. But from the look in his eyes, it can be seen that he is extremely wary of the owner of the heavenly doctor order. Come back at this critical moment, how can I let you ruin my good deeds? Li Xian, you must die. Time passed, and soon it was evening of the next day. At this time, Wangshan Hotel has become extremely lively. Countless luxury cars and celebrities gathered, and the stars shone. The reason is simple, because today is the birthday party that Enifeng Wang, the president of Black Phoenix Group, is holding for his younger brother. Everyone with some means in Dongju heard about this grand event, and wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to build a closer relationship with the Black Phoenix Group. Even if they cannot get the opportunity to cooperate with the Black Phoenix Group, it would be a great honor for them to just become familiar with President Ni. Har har. Qingxue, did you see that? President Ni is really generous. We will definitely be famous throughout Dongju at today's banquet. Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue also came to their hotel and were immediately stunned by the scene before them. Yes, Chengming, you are awesome. It is my, Zhao Qingxue's luck to be with you. Zhao Qingxue also looked excited. Chapter 7. Are you still not satisfied with 2 million? Inside Wangshan Hotel. Sister, there's no need to do this, right? Li Xian stood in front of the mirror, looking at himself in a neat suit, with a wry smile on his face. Even he had forgotten how long it had been since he dressed so formally, and he felt quite uncomfortable. Of course I need to. You are the leading actor today. I want the whole world to focus on you. Enifeng Wang had a smile on her face, with a strange gleam in her eyes. So handsome, worthy of being my junior fellow apprentice of Enifeng Wang. Senior sister, please stop making fun of me. Why do I feel uncomfortable all over? Li Xian smiled bitterly. You'll get used to it slowly. Just focus on being handsome tonight, and leave the rest to me. Enifeng Wang smiled and said, okay, I'm going to change my clothes too. Do you think it's better for me to wear black stockings or white stockings? Having said that, Enifeng Wang started taking off her clothes without caring whether Li Xian was present or not. The perfect curves are reflected in the mirror, and the exquisite body looks particularly attractive under the light. Suddenly, the whole room was filled with ambiguity and spring. Everything is fine. Li Xian swallowed hard and forced his head to turn to the side. God knows how much perseverance this requires of him. Brother, why don't you look at me? Be good and turn your head around. Enifeng Wang's voice was getting closer and closer, and the next second, Li Xian felt something soft wrapping around his head. It turned out that the senior sister came forward and hugged his head with both hands, and naturally pressed it against her soft breasts. Senior sister, I'll go outside and take a look first. Li Xian resisted the urge to have a nosebleed, then gently pushed Enifeng Wang away and fled from the room. Humph! Coward! Looking at Li Xian's fleeing figure, Enifeng Wang couldn't help but burst out, is it because my charm is not enough? I can't even take you down. At this time, outside Wangshan Hotel, Sun Mingcheng held his head high and strode in with Zhao Qingxue. There was excitement and pride on their faces, as if all this was held just for them. Mr. Zhang, now that you're here, please don't be polite. Let's have fun tonight. Har har. Mr. Chen, long time no see. I won't go home until I'm drunk today. Director Xuan, just treat this place like your own home. I'll come and toast you again later. Sun Mingcheng was extremely high profile and greeted everyone he met, as if he was the host today, which made a group of people look puzzled. Although Sihai Group is considered the top one in Dongju, it is not qualified to be so arrogant when seeing so many dragons gathered here tonight, right? Mingcheng, you are awesome. Today you are the most watched man in the world. Zhao Qingxue held Sun Mingcheng's hand with a look of admiration on her face. Har har, although I don't want to be too high profile, but since Mr. Ni thinks so highly of me, I can't pretend anymore. Sun Mingcheng said calmly, Qingxue, remember, if you want to be a great entrepreneur, sometimes you have to be low-key, but sometimes you have to show yourself as much as possible. As for this measure, you still don't know how to grasp it. Learn more from me. It will be very beneficial to your future. Zhao Qingxue immediately showed admiration. Mingcheng, I remember this. It is my blessing to have a husband like you. Compared to you, that jerk Li Xian is even more disgusting than a stink bug in a garbage dump. However, just as Zhao Qingxue finished saying this, she caught a glimpse of Li Xian who had just walked out. Li Xian, why are you here? Zhao Qingxue was shocked and angry. Do you still have any shame? You actually followed me here. Hearing this, Li Xian, who had just walked out, was also stunned, and then he frowned. What are you talking about? I followed you. What else? This is the Wangshan Hotel, a place you can come to. Zhao Qingxue said angrily, I'm telling you, Li Xian, there's no possibility for you and me anymore, just give up on this idea. Heh. I think he just wants more money. At this time, Sun Mingcheng on the side also sneered, I gave you 2 million before, but you didn't want it. I'm afraid you just want to extort more from us, right? More? Does he deserve it? Zhao Qingxue taunted, they are just wild boars and wild dogs. Are you not satisfied with 2 million? To tell you the truth, I will be holding my wedding ceremony soon. You'd better stay away from me and don't show up in front of me to disgust me. Sun Mingcheng also sneered and said, boy, if you don't know what's good for you, I will make sure you can't survive in Dongju. Hearing this, Li Xian smiled, but it was a cold smile. Do you have the ability to make me unable to survive in Dongju? Li Xian sneered. Har har. It seems you haven't realized your situation yet. Sun Mingcheng taunted, tonight, Mr. Ni from the Black Phoenix Group will announce his cooperation with my Sihai Group. From now on, Sihai Group will become the most powerful financial group in Dongju. That's right, from now on I will follow Mingcheng and soar to the sky. Zhao Qingxue sneered and said, Mingcheng only needs one sentence to make you die without a burial place, so you'd better know the current situation. I am really glad for my decision now. You are a stain on my life. You make me sick and nauseous. Li Xian's expression was calm. He was already beyond anger. It was really not worth getting angry over these two bastards. So, Li Xian said calmly, oh? Are you sure the Black Phoenix Group wants to cooperate with you tonight? Of course. You will soon find that the distance between us is getting farther and farther, and you can only look up to us forever. Zhao Qingxue said proudly. Well, in that case, let's wait and see. Li Xian chuckled, turned around and left without entangled with them anymore. After Li Xian left, Zhao Qingxue and Sun Mingcheng also showed a sneering look. HMPH. You're just a pretentious thing. Just wait and see. Sun Mingcheng sneered. Soon, the Wangshan Hotel was bustling with people. Guests came in an endless stream, and it was soon overcrowded. Crash. Not long after, Ni Fengwang also made a stunning appearance amid the applause of the crowd. Li Xian casually found a corner and sat down. He really didn't want to get involved too much in such a noisy occasion. However, just when everyone focused their attention on Ni Fengwang, a figure appeared in front of Li Xian. Li Xian raised his head and found that the person coming was the old god of war's son, Commander Chen. Is there something wrong? Li Xian asked. So you, a liar, are here too? Commander Chen said coldly, it just so happens that today I am here to ask Mr. Ni why he introduced you, a liar, to my father. I will expose your true face as a charlatan in front of everyone. Chapter 8 You have offended my brother. Chen Guodong said coldly, anyone who wants to deceive my father and harm my father will pay the price. Li Xian shook his head and chuckled, it's up to you, do whatever you want. But you will know who will harm the old god of war in the future. If anything happens to the old god of war, the responsibility will be on you. Chen Guodong's eyes turned cold. You still dare to make alarmist remarks now? Whatever you think. Li Xian shrugged, looking indifferent. You? Chen Guodong was furious, but thinking that this boy had a relationship with Mr. Ni, he suppressed his anger. Very good, I'll see what you're going to do later. Chen Guodong said something harsh and turned away, no longer entangled with Li Xian. At this time, Ni Fenghuang also came to the center of the banquet hall among the crowd. She came slowly and gracefully, like a proud swan, becoming the focus of the crowd. Thank you all from Dongju for coming to today's banquet. Ni Fenghuang's elegant voice spread throughout the venue. Thank you for your kindness. The Black Phoenix Group will also develop in Dongju in the future. Everyone present here is an important figure in Dongju. The Black Phoenix Group will need your care in the future. Let us work together to create the future of Dongju. Crash. Suddenly, the whole audience burst into applause. Just a few simple words made many people at the scene feel flattered. You have to know that the person who said this is Ni Fenghuang, the president of the international consortium Black Phoenix Group. It is a great honor for Dongju to hear Ni Fenghuang say such words. Mr. Ni, you are too polite. The Black Phoenix Group's move into Dongju is a blessing for all of us and Dongju. Yes, we will need President Ni's care in the future. As long as President Ni says so, we will have no objection. The Black Phoenix Group is an existence we admire. Please give us more opportunities for cooperation. Ni Fenghuang heard these words and nodded lightly. Of course, when the Black Phoenix Group settles in Dongju in the future, there will definitely be many opportunities for cooperation with you all. After all, Ni Fenghuang will be staying in Dongju for a long time in order to resolve the internal strife in Tianyi Sect. Now that the Black Phoenix Group has just arrived, it naturally needs the acceptance of many local bosses in Dongju, so as to avoid a lot of trouble. However, after hearing this, Sun Mingcheng could no longer sit still. It is clear that the Black Phoenix Group had already reached a cooperation intention with the Sihai Group before coming here, so why does it still want to cooperate with these companies now? Then what is he? Even if he wants to cooperate with others, Sun Mingcheng hopes that others can achieve this goal through his connections. Otherwise, how could Sihai Group be able to soar to success? Sun Mingcheng immediately became jealous. All of this was in his interest. How could he let others snatch away the duck that was already in his mouth? So, Sun Mingcheng immediately jumped out and declared his sovereignty. Everyone! The Black Phoenix Group has reached a cooperation agreement with the Foreseas Group. From now on, Sihai Group will become the closest partner of Black Phoenix Group in Dongju. Sun Mingcheng said loudly, Here, I also want to thank Mr. Ni for thinking highly of me, Sun Mingcheng, and for being willing to give Sihai Group this opportunity. I promise that Sihai Group will not let President Ni down and will definitely bring enough benefits to Black Phoenix Group. Wow! When people heard Sun Mingcheng's words, there was an uproar at the scene. Everyone showed a look of surprise. Has the Black Phoenix Group reached a cooperation agreement with Sun Mingcheng? This is actually not something unusual, but the question is, why choose Sihai Group instead of other consortiums? You know, in Dongju, there are many companies that can be compared with Sihai Group, and there are even some that can suppress it. Why should we choose Sun Mingcheng? For a moment, many people looked at Sun Mingcheng strangely. Some were jealous and envious, some were resentful and cold. But more often than not, there were looks of suspicion and doubt. Idiot. At this moment, Li Xian in the corner couldn't help but shook his head with a look of disdain. This Sun Mingcheng really has no brains. Even if the Black Phoenix Group really reached a cooperation with him, wouldn't it cut off the Black Phoenix Group's retreat if it jumped out to assert its sovereignty at this critical juncture? After all, the Black Phoenix Group was new in town, so it was understandable that Ni Fenghuang said some polite words. Sun Mingcheng's jumping out was equivalent to winning face for Ni Fenghuang. It seems that Sun Mingcheng has been blinded by interests and has completely lost the ability to think. Sure enough, at this moment in the center of the venue, Ni Fenghuang's face had turned cold. Shut up! Who do you think you are? Ni Fenghuang scolded coldly. When did the Black Phoenix Group reach a cooperation agreement with you? Wow! The whole audience was boiling again. Unexpectedly, things took a turn so quickly. Sun Mingcheng had just finished speaking when he was slapped in the face by the real person in the next second. Mr. Ni, didn't you already? Sun Mingcheng quickly said, we talked on the phone before. I'm Sun Mingcheng from High Group. You should still remember me. At this time, Zhao Qingxue on the side also became anxious, her face turned pale, and she hurriedly asked Sun Mingcheng to explain clearly. I want to cooperate with you just over the phone. Ni Feng Wang looked cold and said, there are so many financial groups in Dongju, why should I choose you? Who do you think you are? Sun Mingcheng's face changed drastically, Boss Ni, before? Did I sign a contract with you? Or discuss the details of the cooperation with you? Ni Feng Wang asked back. Well, that's not the case, but if not, then why do you think I want to cooperate with you? Sun Mingcheng? I've never even heard of him. Ni Feng Wang sneered, what kind of idiot wants to cooperate with my Black Phoenix group? What a fantasy. I am announcing here today that my Black Phoenix group will never have any cooperation with your High Group. Do you understand? Boom. Sun Mingcheng only felt a loud bang in his head, and he fell directly to the ground. This. Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue's faces turned pale in an instant. The fantasy that had lasted for so long was actually shattered, and in such a shameful way. Mr. Ni, when I visited you yesterday, you told me that we could discuss the cooperation together at the banquet. Sun Mingcheng came back to his senses and wanted to try again. However, Ni Feng Wang had a cold look on her face. That's right, I'm going to tell you the result in front of everyone. Today is my brother's birthday party, but you have offended my brother, so, do you understand? You are not welcome here, get out. As soon as Ni Feng Wang finished speaking, several bodyguards rushed in. Regardless of Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue's struggles and cries, they were forcibly thrown out of the hotel. Chapter 9 He is a liar. Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue were thrown out of the hotel in front of everyone, which was a complete disgrace. Thinking about Sun Mingcheng's expression just now, as if he was the master, everyone couldn't help but laugh. There is no doubt that from today on, High Group and Sun Mingcheng will become the laughingstock of the entire Dongju. Even because of the Black Phoenix Group's face, many companies that originally cooperated with the High Group may be shaken. Mr. Ni has a younger brother. At this time, some people who were attentive also understood the meaning of Ni Feng Wang's words. Obviously, Ni Feng Wang did this to vent her anger for her so-called brother. But the problem is, I have never heard that Ni Feng Wang has a younger brother. Who is this mysterious younger brother? For a moment, many people looked around in the venue, trying to find where Ni Feng Wang's brother was. This is for the real master. If you can build a closer relationship with them, would you still be afraid that you won't have the chance to cooperate with the Black Phoenix Group in the future? Just when everyone was looking for Li Xian's whereabouts, Li Xian slowly walked to the door of Wangshan Hotel. At this time, Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue were thrown out, and they kept shouting and struggling. Mingcheng, what's going on? Didn't you say that the cooperation with the Black Phoenix Group was a sure thing? How could it turn out like this? Zhao Qingxue asked angrily. You ask me, who should I ask? Sun Mingcheng said angrily, it was originally agreed upon, who knows why that bitch Ni Feng Wang suddenly changed her mind. By the way, President Ni just said that we offended her brother. Who is her brother? Zhao Qingxue also came back to her senses and asked. How should I know? Sun Mingcheng replied unhappily. What do we do now? I don't know. I can only ask other people for help. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Sun Mingcheng said, as long as the misunderstanding is resolved, Mr. Ni may give us a chance. Let's go and get some help. As long as the cooperation with the Black Phoenix Group is not finalized, we still have hope. Just as the two of them stood up and were about to leave, they noticed Li Xian not far away, staring at them with contempt. Li Xian looked down at the two people who were thrown out, with a half-smile on his face. Is this what you call soaring into the sky? Li Xian said calmly, it did fly, but was kicked away by someone. Asshole. Hearing Li Xian's ridicule, Sun Mingcheng immediately became furious. Li Xian, who do you think you are? How dare you laugh at me? Sun Mingcheng said angrily, even if I have no cooperation with the Black Phoenix Group, I can still kill you and make it impossible for you to survive in Dongju. That's right. You are just an idle loser, what right do you have to laugh at Mingcheng? Zhao Qingxue also echoed, compared with Mingcheng, you are rat in the sewer. We will still trample you under our feet, you freeloader. Ming Cheng is worth at least several billion. How about you? I'm afraid all your money added up wouldn't even be worth 5,000, you piece of crap. HMPH. Xue, don't talk to him. I have already decided. The first thing I will do next is to kill him and make him disappear from the face of the earth. Sun Mingcheng said coldly, we don't need to bother with a dead person. Yes, I'll listen to you. He's just a piece of trash and not worthy of making me angry. Let's go. After saying that, Sun Mingcheng and Zhao Qingxue glared at Li Xian coldly, then left Wangshan Hotel in a rage. Li Xian's expression remained calm the entire time, but as he watched the two people leave, a hint of coldness flashed across Li Xian's eyes. Originally I wanted to let you go, but since you dare to threaten me, I'll play with you for a bit. Li Xian muttered to himself, since we have to solve the internal strife of Tianyi Sect anyway, I might as well get rid of you while I'm at it. Afterwards, Li Xian turned around and returned to Wangshan Hotel. When he returned to the scene, the banquet was already going on. Everyone was laughing and talking, and had already forgotten about Sun Mingcheng. Just when Li Xian was about to find a place to sit down, he saw Chen Guodong stand up and walk towards Ni Feng Wang, who had finished her work. Moreover, when Chen Guodong passed by Li Xian, he said something coldly. I'm going to go find Mr. Ni now and see how long you can keep pretending. After saying that, Chen Guodong passed Li Xian and came in front of Ni Feng Wang. Mr. Ni. Chen Guodong greeted. Oh. Commander Chen is here. Ni Feng Wang smiled and said, the miracle doctor I introduced to the old god of war is quite good, isn't he? However, before Ni Feng Wang could finish her words, the smile froze on her face. Chen Guodong said directly, Mr. Ni, I am sorry to tell you that the miracle doctor you introduced is a charlatan. Not only did he deceive my father, but he also encouraged him to smoke and drink. He is simply lawless. Before Ni Feng Wang could speak, Chen Guodong continued. Mr. Ni, I am very grateful that you are willing to help, and I have no intention of blaming you. I'm telling you all this today just to remind you to be careful of that liar. He doesn't have any real skills at all. Being cheated out of money is a minor matter, but if he really causes any health problems, it would be more trouble than it's worth. However, just when Chen Guodong thought that his words would win Ni Feng Wang's gratitude, Ni Feng Wang directly interrupted him. Have you said enough? Ni Feng Wang said with a cold expression. Huh? Mr. Ni, what do you mean? Chen Guodong's face changed. I kindly asked my brother to treat the old god of war, but you said this about my brother. Ni Feng Wang's aura changed suddenly. Even the battle-hardened Chen Guodong felt a cold murderous intent lingering in the air at this moment. Your brother? Him. Chen Guodong was stunned for a moment. Ni Feng Wang said coldly, I tell you Chen Guodong, I call you Commander Chen only for the sake of the old war god, otherwise you are nothing in my eyes. My brother's medical skills are unrivaled in the world. I don't need you to explain to me whether he is a liar or not. Since you don't trust my brother, then whatever problems the old god of war encounters in the future will have nothing to do with me, Ni Feng Wang. Hearing this, Chen Guodong was suddenly confused. That boy turned out to be Ni Feng Wang's younger brother? Moreover, Ni Feng Wang's firm words also made Chen Guodong a little shaken. How could Ni Feng Wang not know the truth about that boy? Obviously, this possibility was very low. Could it be that the boy was really some extraordinary person? He possessed some abilities that were unimaginable to outsiders. However, when Chen Guodong thought that Li Xian actually allowed his father to smoke and drink, he gave up the idea. How can there be a doctor in this world who encourages his patients to smoke and drink? If not a liar, what else could he be? Chen Guodong is a very conceited person. He believes that Li Xian is a liar, so Li Xian must be a liar. That's all I have to say, Commander Chen, please leave. Ni Feng Wang said in a cold voice. Okay, in that case, I won't bother you anymore. Chen Guodong looked at Ni Feng Wang deeply, then turned around and left. Chapter 10 Boss, it's really you. The banquet is over. In the end, even though everyone in the audience was looking forward to Li Xian's appearance, Li Xian only showed his back. Of course, the people present would have no objection to this. After all, he is the eldest son of the Black Phoenix group. Who dares to have any objections to him? What's more, appropriate confidentiality is also necessary. The people present were all powerful to some extent, and they were very attentive to protecting their families. Proper confidentiality can avoid a lot of unnecessary trouble. That night, Li Xian stayed at Wangshan Hotel to protect his senior sister's safety. The next morning, Li Xian said goodbye to Ni Feng Wang and drove alone to the downstairs of the Warren Group. The Warren Group is also a multinational super conglomerate, and its strength is not inferior to that of the Black Phoenix Group. But the difference is that the Warren Group is extremely low-key and focuses only on its business. Although it also has branches in major cities around the world, it rarely has any dealings with local companies. Moreover, the Warren Group spans multiple industries and projects, and most of the cooperation can be directly digested within the group, leaving no opportunity for cooperation to others. This is also the reason why entrepreneurs in Dongju were so excited when they heard that the Black Phoenix Group had arrived. In the minds of these entrepreneurs in Dongju, although the Black Phoenix Group is also high and mighty, it is not without a chance to gain a chance for cooperation. As for the Warren Group, that completely shuts people out. Therefore, the Warren Group has always given people a feeling of being superior yet extremely mysterious. And now, Li Xian actually came to the Dongju headquarters of the Warren Group quietly. "Who are you looking for?" As expected, Li Xian was stopped by the security of Warren Group. "I'm looking for Luo Jinlong," Li Xian said. "Mr. Luo, do you have an appointment?" The security guard's face immediately became respectful. After all, anyone who could come to see Mr. Luo must be no small figure. Li Xian was stunned. "Do I need to make an appointment to see Luo Jinlong?" "Yes, sir, we can't let you in without an appointment." The security guard added, "Please cooperate and don't embarrass us." Li Xian nodded silently, then took out his cell phone, found a number and dialed it. "Luo Jinlong, I'm at the door of your company," Li Xian said lightly after the call was connected. Bang! Bang! There was a flurry of noise from the other end of the line, as if the person answering the phone had knocked something over. "Boss. It's really you. You're finally willing to contact me." A man's voice came from the other end of the phone, but his voice had become sharp due to excessive excitement. "It's me, come down quickly, I can't get in," Li Xian said. "Okay, I'll be right there, right there." Soon, a figure hurriedly ran out of the elevator, looking nervous, as if afraid of missing someone. "Mr. Luo." Security officer Luo Jinlong ran down in a panic, thinking something had happened. But the next second, the security guard's face changed completely. Because they saw that Mr. Luo was running respectfully to the young man who had just been turned away by them. Could it be that the young man just now has some special identity? If that is the case, wouldn't it be a suicidal act for them to turn them away? Thinking of this, several security personnel trembled all over and cold sweat ran down their faces. "Boss, you really are back, that's great, that's great." Luo Jinlong was so excited that he was incoherent and almost burst into tears on the spot. If other people saw this scene, they would probably be shocked. You have to know that this is Luo Jinlong, the president of Warren Group, and he is the one who has the final say. But now, this person who usually needs their admiration is nodding and bowing respectfully to a young man. How can people not be shocked? Okay, let's go in first and don't let anyone see us here," Li Xian said helplessly. "Oh, yes, boss, follow me." Luo Jinlong came to his senses and quickly invited Li Xian into the building. However, when Luo Jinlong passed by several security personnel, he gave them a cold look, which immediately frightened the security personnel so much that they almost lost their souls. "Don't make things difficult for them, this is their job," said Li Xian. "Yes, you are right." Luo Jinlong responded immediately, and the cold look from before was immediately retracted. The security guards then felt relieved and looked at Li Xian with gratitude. Afterwards, Li Xian followed Luo Jinlong to his office. When the office door was closed, Luo Jinlong immediately knelt down in front of Li Xian with a thump. Tianyi Sect disciple Luo Jinlong pays homage to the sect master. "Get up, I told you, you don't have to follow these etiquette outside." Li Xian helped Luo Jinlong up and said, "It seems that the Warren Group has developed well under your management. You have done a good job." "Thank you, boss. This is what I should do." Luo Jinlong asked quickly, "Boss, are you coming back to take charge of Tianyi Sect again this time?" He. Li Xian looked at Luo Jinlong's expectant expression, chuckled, and then nodded slowly. "Yes, from today on, I will take over Tianyi Sect again and officially return." "Great. Welcome back, Master. Luo Jinlong was so excited that he was about to kneel down to Li Xian again. Li Xian stopped him and said, "Okay, I came to you this time to assign you a task. Boss, please speak." Luo Jinlong also regained his serious expression. "Three things." Li Xian said, "First, I just got divorced and currently have no place to live. Please help me find a place to live and also arrange a car for me." "What? Divorce?" Luo Jinlong almost jumped up from his seat and said angrily, "Is that woman blind? She actually divorced her boss. What on earth was she thinking?" "Boss, do you want me to take action?" Luo Jinlong said coldly. Li Xian waved his hand and said, "Don't worry about it now. Let's solve the problem of my residence and car first. But try to keep a low profile. I don't want to be too conspicuous." "Okay, I will definitely satisfy the boss," Luo Jinlong replied. "Okay, the second thing is, I need you to help me secretly investigate Qi Zongheng's whereabouts." Li Xian said, "If you have any news about him, report it to me immediately, but remember, don't act rashly and alert the enemy." "Qi Zongheng? The branch leader?" Luo Jinlong's face changed slightly. Obviously he didn't know about Qi Zongheng's rebellion yet. "Well, do it secretly and don't alert others." As he spoke, Li Xian's eyes turned cold. "And there's a third thing. I want to acquire Sihai Group in a short time. Chapter 11. Let us look for it at the garbage dump." Swish. Luo Jinlong suddenly stood up from his seat. "Yes, boss." This was the first time Li Xian gave him a task, and he had to do it well. Moreover, except for investigating Qi Zongheng's whereabouts, which was a little difficult, the other three things were easy for Luo Jinlong. In fact, from the beginning to the end, Luo Jinlong never cared about the Sihai Group. In front of the Warren Group, the Dongju Group is just a small company and cannot even stand up to scrutiny. "Okay, just send me the address and I can go there myself." "No need to send me there." Li Xian greeted Luo Jinlong, then stood up and left the office. However, just as Li Xian walked out, a heavily made-up woman rushed up from the corner and almost bumped into Li Xian's arms. "Fuck. Damn, you have no eyes." The woman was not too old, probably in her early 30s, but she was full of swear words and started cursing at Li Xian as soon as she opened her mouth. "You were the one who rushed too fast, who can you blame? And I didn't bump into you," Li Xian said with a frown. "How dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am?" The woman pointed at Li Xian's nose and angrily said, "Which department are you from? Believe it or not, I will make you pack up and leave." "Which department are you from?" Li Xian asked in a deep voice. "You don't even recognize me, and you dare to be so arrogant." The woman sneered and said, "Let me tell you, I'm the head of the Human Resources Department, Liu Yufei. No matter which department you are from, get out of here right now and don't come to work at Warren Group anymore," the woman continued. Upon hearing this, Li Xian looked the woman up and down, his expression becoming extremely gloomy. After all, he is the boss of the Warren Group. But he, the boss, was fired by the head of the HR department. And just because he almost bumped into her? "Why do you want me to get out?" Li Xian said coldly, "Can the head of the HR department fire anyone he wants?" "Nonsense. I, Liu Yufei, have the final say in Warren Group. If I tell you to get out, you have to get out," Liu Yufei said proudly. "What's going on? Why's all the noise?" At this moment, Luo Jinlong in the office heard the noise and came out. "Mr. Luo, this guy actually talked back to me. I told him to get lost. Is that okay?" Liu Yufei said. "What? You told him to get out?" Luo Jinlong was stunned and subconsciously looked at Li Xian. However, Li Xian's expression was still calm at this time, which made Luo Jinlong secretly relieved. "That's right, get him out. We at Warren Group don't like people. For trash like him, my HR department can just post a recruitment notice and have as many people as they want." Bang! Suddenly, Luo Jinlong slapped Liu Yufei hard on the face. "Mr. Luo, you..." Liu Yufei covered her face and looked at Luo Jinlong in disbelief. She was also transferred directly from the headquarters to the Dongju branch, and she has a strong background, so even Luo Jinlong is very polite to her on weekdays. But unexpectedly, Luo Jinlong was so tough this time and attacked her directly. "Liu Yufei, it's okay for you to make trouble in the company normally, but you went too far today. Luo Jinlong scolded. What's wrong with me? It's just firing someone, what's the big deal? Liu Yufei was still unconvinced and retorted. At this time, Li Xian sneered, Boss Luo, this is not how you manage a company. Hearing this, Luo Jinlong was shocked and the look he gave Liu Yufei became much more ferocious. Liu Yufei, from now on, you are fired by Warren Group. Pack up your things and get out. Luo Jinlong said angrily. What? Fire me? Liu Yufei was stunned for a moment, then she angrily said, Luo Jinlong, what do you mean? I was also assigned by the headquarters. If you want to fire me, you need the headquarters confirmation. You are not qualified. However, Luo Jinlong had already taken out his cell phone and dialed directly to the headquarters. Soon, Liu Yufei's phone rang urgently. When she saw the caller ID above, she gasped in horror. Hiss. Liu Yufei pressed the answer button tremblingly, and a cold voice immediately came from the other end of the phone. Liu Yufei, their headquarters has decided to suspend you immediately. You are required to return to the headquarters within 3 days to accept the punishment, otherwise you will bear the consequences yourself. Thump. Liu Yufei's cell phone slipped and her body went limp. She fell to the ground, her eyes full of fear. As a senior executive of the Warren Group, she is well aware of the terrifying power behind the group. Their headquarters wants her to go back and be punished, which is more terrible than killing her directly. So Liu Yufei immediately knelt on the ground and begged. Boss Luo, I know I was wrong. Please give me a chance and forgive me this time. I will never dare to do it again. Liu Yufei wailed and cried loudly, her makeup was smudged, and she looked like a female ghost. Forgive you? If I forgive you, who will forgive me? Get out of here. Luo Jinlong pushed her away and then bowed to apologize to Li Xian. However, Li Xian had no interest in staying any longer. He waved his hand at Luo Jinlong and left the Warren Group, leaving only Liu Yufei's cries echoing in his mind. Afterwards, Li Xian took a taxi and returned to Zhao Qingshue's home. This was also where Li Xian lived. Now that Li Xian has signed a divorce agreement with Zhao Qingxue, he also wants to take back some of his things and completely cut off ties with the other party from now on. However, just as Li Xian arrived at the door of his house, he saw Sun Chengming walking out of the villa with his arm around Zhao Qingshue's waist. Behind the two of them, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan were smiling obsequiously, as if they were seeing the new son-in-law off. Li Xian. Seeing Li Xian coming, Zhao Qingshue's face suddenly became gloomy, and Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan behind him also immediately changed their expressions. What are you doing here? Still want to get entangled? Zhang Hualan said sarcastically, I'm warning you, you and Qingxue from our family have already divorced, so don't be so ungrateful. At this time, Zhao Renfu on the side also spoke. Humph. Do you still want to come to my Zhao family to ask for benefits? You are such a loser. Compared to Cheng Ming, you are not even worthy of carrying his shoes. Li Xian watched silently, but his expression did not change much. Li Xian knew his two former father-in-law and mother-in-law very well. They were greedy and shameless and put profit above all else. If it weren't for this kind of family, someone like Zhao Qingxue would not have been born. You think too much. I just came to retrieve some of my personal belongings. Li Xian said calmly. Har har. Personal belongings. You make it sound like they are so valuable. It's just a pile of trash, but you're treating it like something special. Zhao Qingxue said calmly, I threw away your things a long time ago. If you want to find them, go to the garbage dump next door. Chapter 12 Reviving Tianyi. I threw away your stuff a long time ago. If you want to find it, just go to the garbage dump next door, har 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 har. Hearing this, Li Xian's expression instantly turned cold. He really didn't have any important belongings, so if they were lost, they were lost. But there is a photo among them that Li Xian must retrieve, and this is also the purpose of his coming here today. This photo is a childhood photo of him, Old Man Yi and 7 senior sisters, and it is the only one. Li Xian was rescued and raised by Old Man Yi when he was very young. In his heart, his master and senior sisters are his relatives. This is the only photo of him with his family. You deserve to die. Li Xian's eyes turned blood red in an instant, and he stared at Zhao Qingxue as if he wanted to eat her alive. You, what do you want to do? Zhao Qingxue felt scared when Li Xian stared at her like that, and subconsciously took a few steps back. Li Xian, I warn you not to mess around, otherwise I will put you in jail for life. Sun Chengming immediately scolded. Get lost. Li Xian rushed forward, shouted angrily, pushed the two men away, and then rushed into the villa. He hasn't lost his mind enough to kill someone, but he is determined to get the photos back. Li Xian. How dare you? You are trespassing. Call the police to arrest him, and make sure he goes to jail. Seeing Li Xian rushing into the villa, Zhao Renfu and others were furious, but they did not dare to stop him. After all, Li Xian's current appearance is too scary, and God knows what extreme things he will do. Bang! Li Xian rushed into the villa and pushed the door open directly into his room. Sure enough, the room had been emptied and cleaned, leaving nothing behind. Li Xian opened the drawer without giving up, but the photos stored inside were gone. Boom! Li Xian punched the table angrily, smashing the entire table into pieces, and only then did he calm down his anger. Afterwards, Li Xian, who had calmed down, walked out and went straight to the garbage dump not far away. This photo is very important to him, and he must get it back even if he has to rummage through the garbage. However, this scene was extremely ridiculous in the eyes of Zhao Qingxue and others. Har har. I thought he had the courage to do something, but it turns out he is still such a coward. Sun Chengming sneered. Humph. If he dares to do something, I will still respect him as a man. Zhao Qingxue sneered. After 3 years of marriage, he has accomplished nothing. If he had a bit of ambition, he wouldn't be like this. He is just a coward. Har har. It seems like he wanted to rummage through the garbage. It was just some old clothes, but he actually went to rummage through them. How hard must his life be? Forget it, forget it. Just let him go for his pity. Otherwise, the charge of trespassing alone will be enough to send him to jail for 3 years. Sun Chengming said calmly, of course, why bother with such a person? Don't forget, we're going to have our wedding in a while. If he goes to jail, how can he see your happy moment? Hearing this, Zhao Qingxue immediately showed a happy look and buried her head in Sun Chengming's arms. That's right, I want him to see with his own eyes what the gap is, and let him know how well I married and how happy I am. Zhao Qingxue said proudly. However, at this time, Li Xian, who had just walked a short distance, stopped. Li Xian slowly turned around and stared at them coldly. What are you doing? Do you want to eat us? Do you dare? Sun Chengming immediately shouted angrily. Li Xian looked at them with a mocking expression. It seems that you have forgotten that you were thrown out last night. Fuck. Even if my Black Phoenix group refuses, I'm still the young master of Sea Group. Sun Mingcheng looked furious. That's right. Chengming is worth at least tens of billions now. What qualifications do you have to laugh at him? At least he doesn't have to rummage through garbage to make a living. Zhao Qingxue said sarcastically. Har har. That's right, Mr. Sun, you don't have to bother with this kind of person. It is a blessing for our Zhao family that Qingxue can marry you. Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan saw the right opportunity and immediately started to flatter Sun Chengming with fawning smiles on their faces. Very well, you will regret it. Li Xian looked at a few people coldly, then turned and left without paying any more attention. Regret? Ridiculous. I will regret it for the rest of my life if I don't divorce you. You loser, why are you pretending? Zhao Qingxue sneered. Okay Qingxue, don't bother with this kind of garbage. Sun Chengming said, let's go, I've already booked the best French restaurant, let him go rummage through the garbage. Trash in trash, that's what they call birds of a feather flock together. Har har. After saying that, Sun Chengming and his companions left triumphantly, not taking Li Xian's threats seriously at all. What they didn't know was that Li Xian originally wanted to give them a chance to live, but their actions today had completely sentenced themselves to death. Crash. Afterwards, Li Xian came to the garbage dump and began to search according to the distance. Fortunately, Li Xian's things were just some clothes, which were usually placed on the periphery. Because these clothes may be their hope for some people with difficult lives to survive the cold winter, and many elderly scavengers also rely on this garbage dump to survive. So, in order to make it easier for these people to pick up, garbage that can usually be recycled is placed outside. Sure enough, after searching for a while, Li Xian finally found what belonged to him, and the only photo was lying quietly inside. It's okay, it's not lost. Li Xian rubbed the photo in his palm, and a smile appeared on his face again. In the photo, he was still a child, sitting in the center, surrounded by his master and 7 equally young senior sisters. At that time, old man Yi was still middle-aged, but now his temples are grey. The senior sisters at that time were still young and naive, but now they have become the best in various fields. The master is old, and I have become the only man in the sect who can shoulder the heavy responsibility. From now on, I will protect my sect, my sister, and old man Yi. I will definitely find you back. Li Xian looked at the photo and secretly swore in his heart that he would never give up and would revive Tianyi. Then, Li Xian carefully put the photo into his arms and turned to leave. As for the remaining clothes, they were not worth mentioning to Li Xian. Half an hour later, Li Xian took a taxi to the Blue Bay Villa district. This was the temporary residence that Luo Zhenlong had arranged for him. He came here following the address. But what Li Xian didn't expect was that he had just been to this place not long ago. What a coincidence! In the same place as the old god of war. Li Xian shook his head and smiled, then he found his detached villa, opened the door and walked in. Chapter 13. What is your misunderstanding about being low-key? At this time, we are in the Blue Bay Villa area. The old god of war sat alone in the study, looking out the window in silence. Ever since he realized that he didn't have much time left, he often sat in his study. Like countless old people, when people get old, they always like to reminisce about the past and miss their former companions. Afterwards, the old god of war turned his head and looked at the long sword quietly placed beside him, with a look of reminiscence on his face. This was his former weapon. With this knife, he cut off countless enemy heads. If he is the god of war, then this knife is the blade of the god of war. It's a pity that he no longer has the strength to even pick up the sharp blade. Old friend. The old god of war stood up unwillingly, came to the front of the long sword, and gently stroked it with his hand. Then, his eyes focused, and he used all his strength to try to raise the long sword again. Clang! However, this time, the result was different from what he had imagined. Although it was still very strenuous, he managed to lift the long sword successfully, and while lifting it, he could feel that his blocked meridians seemed to loosen. What's going on? The old god of war was shocked, with excitement flashing in his eyes. Am I really getting better? Can I still be saved? Calm down, I must calm down at this time. The old god of war knew deeply that this was related to whether he could continue to survive, so he had to think seriously about it. All the treatments during this period are the same as before. If it could get better, it would have been better long ago. The old god of war pondered, the only difference is that I have practiced the Qi Sutra that Li Xiaoyu gave me twice. Yes, it must be the Qi Meridian. It's definitely not the medicine developed by that divine Dr. Zhu. I didn't take that medicine at all. Har har. God will not let me go. Li Xiaoyu is indeed a miracle doctor. The Qi Sutra is truly effective. Thinking of this, the old god of war immediately sat down cross-legged excitedly and began to circulate his Qi meridians again. And this time, the old god of war could clearly sense the changes in his meridians. It's a warm feeling, as if the ice and snow are melting. Originally, the meridians were blocked with Qi, but they also contained a lot of breath energy. Now that the meridians are beginning to warm up, this energy is also beginning to radiate. From then on, the old god of war became even more certain that all this was due to the Qi Sutra that Li Xian taught him. Knock, knock, knock. Just at this moment, there was a knock on the door. Come in. The old god of war immediately stopped breathing. Immediately afterwards, Chen Guodong pushed the door open and walked in, holding a medicine bottle in his hand. Dad, it's time to take medicine. This is a special medicine sent by Dr. Zhu. It is good for your health. Chen Guodong said. What special medicine? I've taken so many so-called special medicines, but are they any use at all? The old god of war scolded, you only know how to make me take medicine every day, do you want to eat me to death? Dad, don't be like this. Dr. Zhu is very powerful this time. Chen Guodong said quickly, look, you ate it once before, and now you feel much better, and you can speak more vigorously. HMPH. Do you think this is the credit of the so-called divine Dr. Zhu? The old god of war sneered. What else? Could it be that charlatan's work? Chen Guodong said, Dad, I know you are in a bad mood, but we have been trying to find a way to treat you. The country has not given up on you, and I will not give up on you either, so please cooperate with us, okay? The old god of war was annoyed by what Chen Guodong said. It was just the same few sentences over and over again, and he had no way to refute them. Okay, put your things down and leave quickly. Don't disturb me at night. Get out. The old god of war waved his hand. Seeing this, Chen Guodong could only sigh helplessly. Okay, I'll go back to the war department first. Dad, remember to take your medicine on time. If you feel uncomfortable, call me immediately. After saying that, Chen Guodong left the study. In fact, Chen Guodong is a very filial person, and that is why he is so concerned about the physical condition of the old god of war. He became so angry when he saw that Li Xian actually let the old god of war smoke and drink. Li Xian understood this point, so he didn't argue too much with Chen Guodong. Filial piety is the first of all virtues. A filial person will at least not be too bad. At this time, on the other side, Li Xian took a casual tour of the villa. Apart from being a little too luxurious, he was generally satisfied with it. Sizzle. Soon, the sound of a car was heard outside the house, and then Luo Jinlong knocked on the door and walked in. Boss. Luo Jinlong asked for credit. How is this place? Is it okay? Li Xian nodded. It's okay, but it's too luxurious for me to live here alone. How can this be considered extravagant? As a boss, this is already very low-key. If it's worse, even I can't accept it. Luo Jinlong said, by the way, boss, I have brought the car you asked for. It is parked outside the door. It's not another luxury car, is it? I told you I don't want to be too high profile. Li Xian said unhappily. How can that be? I'm just doing what you asked. It's just a Honda. Luo Jinlong said as he handed over the car keys. Li Xian looked at the car logo on the car key, then he felt relieved, then opened the door and walked out. But when he saw the car parked outside, he was suddenly speechless. This is a Honda, yes, but it says GTR on it. This guy Luo Jinlong probably has some misunderstanding about the word low-key. GTR. Low-key. Li Xian turned around and glared at Luo Jinlong. Luo Jinlong's head shrank immediately, and he said aggrievedly, Boss, this is the most low-key car I can find. Forget it, let's just leave it at that. We'll just have to make do with it. Li Xian let it go and didn't plan to argue any further. By the way, boss, I'm here to report the situation to you. Luo Jinlong said. Tell me, what's the progress? Luo Jinlong immediately became serious and said, Boss, according to our investigation, Qi Zongheng is definitely still hiding in Dongju. Although the Dongju branch has been secretly relocated, judging from their trajectory, they haven't gone far. In addition, I also found out that a large number of Tianyi Sect disciples were deployed. Many of Tianyi Sect's elite disciples secretly rushed to Dongju from all over the place. Hearing this, Li Xian's expression became solemn. Now old man Yi is missing, and his heavenly doctor order has not yet been officially announced to the world. In other words, the only ones who can dispatch so many disciples of the Tianyi Sect now are his few senior sisters. If the senior sisters want to transfer personnel, they will naturally tell him. Since there isn't any, it means there is a big problem behind this transfer. By the way, boss, didn't you ask me to acquire Sihai Group? At this time, Luo Jinlong continued, when I was investigating Sihai Group, I found some interesting things. Chapter 14 The Miss has arrived, everyone get out of the way. Oh? What's interesting? Li Xian asked. I found that there are big problems in Sihai Group. Luo Jinlong said, since Sun Chengming took over Sihai Group, the pace has been getting bigger and bigger, so naturally, funding problems have arisen. Although the Sihai Group is prosperous on the surface, it is actually standing on the edge of a cliff and may go bankrupt at any time. Hearing this, Li Xian raised his eyebrows and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. No wonder Sun Mingcheng is so eager to gain cooperation with the Black Phoenix Group. As long as they can get the contract with the Black Phoenix Group, any bank will rush to send money to the Sihai Group. On the contrary, the banks that originally cooperated with Sihai Group would probably assess the risks and suspend their loan cooperation. By then, Sihai Group will be truly bankrupt. Boss, the Sihai Group is in danger now, and the capital chain is already seriously strained. Luo Jinlong said solemnly, if my estimate is correct, within half a year, Sihai Group's capital chain will be broken and fall apart. So, if the boss wants to acquire Sihai Group, I do have a plan. Li Xian turned his head and said, what's the plan? Tell me about it. Boss, if the capital chain of Sihai Group is broken, then what will be left behind is a mess, which is worthless. Luo Jinlong said, if the Warren Group invests and moves into the Sihai Group, we can definitely save the Sihai Group with our financial resources. By then, Sihai Group will also be acquired by us, but it will be a tool that can make money for the boss, not worthless garbage. After a pause, Luo Jinlong continued. According to my estimation, the current funding gap of Sihai Group is about 5 billion. At that time, we can definitely propose conditions and send a large number of elites to join the top management of Sihai Group to achieve 100% control. Hearing this, Li Xian showed an appreciative look. Yes, that's a good idea. But boss, if we use this method, it will take some time to completely gain control of the Sihai Group. Luo Jinlong said. How long will it take? About half a month to 20 days. Okay, I don't mind taking this little extra time. Li Xian chuckled. Then if the boss agrees, I'll do it right away. Go ahead, I'll wait for your good news. Yes, boss. Afterwards, Luo Jinlong left, and Li Xian simply packed up and prepared to go out. After all, he had just moved in and didn't bring anything with him, so he still had to buy some daily necessities. So Li Xian drove the GTR out of the Blue Bay Villa area and went to a nearby large supermarket to do some shopping. This supermarket is located near the train station. It has a large flow of people and a complete range of goods, which meets Li Xian's needs. After Li Xian finishes shopping, he puts everything back in the car, starts the car and prepares to leave. However, just as he stepped on the accelerator, a figure rushed out from the side of the road and was almost hit by Li Xian. Sizzle. Fortunately, Li Xian reacted quickly and avoided the accident. Hey! How do you drive? The person who was almost hit was a young girl. She was carrying a backpack, had a ponytail, had a delicate appearance, and a well-proportioned figure. What attracted Li Xian the most was the girl's eyes. Those clear eyes were full of intelligence and innocence. One can tell at a glance that this is a girl who is inexperienced but extremely intelligent. You suddenly rushed out by yourself, okay. Li Xian chuckled and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, the girl suddenly looked behind her, and her expression became a little flustered. Then, before Li Xian could say anything, the girl got directly into his passenger seat. Drive quickly, the girl said hurriedly. No, why are you getting in my car? Li Xian asked speechlessly. Oh. Just drive if I tell you to. I'll give you money. Hurry up, the girl urged. What do you mean give me money? Are you using me as a taxi? Li Xian said angrily, look carefully, this is a GTR. Do you know what a GTR is? I don't care about you. Drive quickly, or something will happen. The girl urged anxiously while turning her head back. Li Xian followed the girl's gaze and saw several men in black suits chasing after them. He also realized that the girl might have gotten into some trouble. After some consideration, Li Xian stepped on the accelerator and quickly left the scene. This also made the men in black who were chasing behind stop in their tracks and gave up the chase in frustration. Phew! It's safe. Seeing this scene, the girl breathed a sigh of relief and said to Li Xian, thank you, my name is Tang Xiaoxiao, I will repay you in the future. Li Xian shook his head and smiled, saying, who have you offended that is chasing you in broad daylight? No, he's our bodyguard, said the girl. Li Xian was stunned, then he looked at the girl and showed a look of understanding. I guess this girl ran away from home. Okay, where are you going? Li Xian asked. I'm going to the Blue Bay Villa district. Is it far from here? Tang Xiaoxiao said. Blue Bay Villa? What are you doing there? I'm going to find my grandfather. Just tell me how much it costs to take me there. I will definitely give you the money after I find my grandfather, said Tang Xiaoxiao. Li Xian chuckled, no need, I'm also staying at Blue Bay Villa on the way. Really? What a coincidence. Yes, but I just moved here today. Hee, I'm really lucky, it's no wonder I'm Tang Xiaoxiao. Tang Xiaoxiao laughed with her head raised, revealing her two little fangs proudly. Li Xian shook his head and smiled, then asked, I say, aren't you afraid that I'm a bad guy? Don't be afraid, I'm smart, I can tell you're not a bad person. Are you sure? Sure. Li Xian looked at Tang Xiaoxiao's confident look, and he began to feel a little fond of this little girl. Not only is the little girl smart, but she also has good eyesight. Soon, Li Xian brought Tang Xiaoxiao to the Blue Bay Villa district. Under Tang Xiaoxiao's guidance, Li Xian parked the car in front of the old god of war's house. Could this be your grandpa's house? Are you the old god of war's granddaughter? Li Xian asked in surprise. Hey, you still know my grandpa? Come on, let's go in together. Tang Xiaoxiao was very happy and pulled Li Xian into the villa. Grandpa! Grandpa! Your little princess is here. As soon as Tang Xiaoxiao entered the door, she started talking loudly, looking like a young lady. And sure enough, the old god of war soon came down from upstairs and looked at Tang Xiaoxiao with a loving face. Har har, Xiaoxiao finally came to see Grandpa. As he spoke, the old god of war also noticed Li Xian standing behind him. Huh? Li Xiaoyu is here too. Great, please take a seat, I was just looking for you. Chapter 15. I am your senior sister. The old god of war was very enthusiastic towards Li Xian and quickly asked him to sit down. Li Xian nodded, not being reserved, and found a seat and sat down generously. Old god of war, you just said you had something to talk to me about. Li Xian asked. Yeah, you should have noticed it too, right? The old god of war said with a smile. Li Xian smiled and nodded. The meridians are showing signs of thawing. It seems that the old war god has a chi training sutra. Har har. You are worthy of being a genius, doctor. You saw through me at a glance. The old god of war said, thanks to little friend Li, it seems that my old body can live for another 2 years. Har har, you're welcome. I was also entrusted by someone. Moreover, you have made great military achievements. Every Chinese person hopes that you will live a long life. Li Xian said, the most important thing in practicing Qijing is perseverance. The whole process is like a game of chess with the icy air. Once you stop, the opponent will take the opportunity to seize it back, so as long as the old war god persists in practicing, he can completely unfreeze the meridians. The old war god immediately perked up and asked, little friend Li, are there any other things to note when practicing this Qi Sutra? No, I practice whenever I have time, but practicing twice a day, morning and evening, is essential. Li Xian said, the morning is the most important part of a day's plan. The purple air in the morning is also the key to the first ray of yang energy. It can achieve twice the result with half the effort. As for the night, the cold and yin energy will corrode us, and we need the help of the qi meridians. Therefore, it is necessary to practice in the morning and evening. The rest is up to you. Okay. I will definitely listen to young Master Li and will never give up halfway. The old god of war said quickly. At this time, Tang Xiaoxiao on the side couldn't stand it anymore. Hey, what are you two talking about? I can't understand a word you say. Tang Xiaoxiao asked. Har har. I forgot to introduce myself. The old war god laughed heartily and said, little friend Li, this is my granddaughter Tang Xiaoxiao. You young people can get to know her more often in the future. We already know each other. Li Xian nodded with a smile. That's right, granddaughter. In Li Xian's opinion, Chen Guodong could never give birth to a daughter as smart and cute as Tang Xiaoxiao. Yes, Grandpa, this time it was all thanks to Li Xian that he brought me here, otherwise I would have been caught by my mother. Tang Xiaoxiao said aggrievedly. Oh? You ran away from home again. The old war god chuckled and said, I'll call your mother right now so she won't worry. No, Grandpa, please don't hit me, and don't tell my uncle yet. This time is different. Tang Xiaoxiao said. What's the difference? Didn't you have a quarrel with your mother? The old god of war and Li Xian were both stunned. No. Tang Xiaoxiao said aggrievedly, my mother forced me to marry into the Lin family, but I didn't want to, so I ran away secretly. After saying this, Tang Xiaoxiao's voice was almost inaudible, which showed that she was feeling very guilty at this moment. What? The old war god's face turned cold and he said angrily, what are you doing? Who dares to force my granddaughter, Chen Wanli? Your mother is too outrageous. I don't know either. Anyway, my parents are very determined this time. They want me to marry into the Lin family. I won't marry. Tang Xiaoxiao hugged the old war god's arm and said coquettishly, Grandpa, you must protect me. Humph. They are probably worried that no one will be able to protect the Tang family after I, Chen Wanli, die. This is really outrageous. The old god of war said in a cold voice, even if I, Chen Wanli, die, I will not let anyone bully my precious granddaughter. Grandpa, don't say that. You must live to be 100 years old. You will never die. Tang Xiaoxiao's eyes immediately turned red. Yes, Grandpa won't die. Don't worry, Xiao Xiao. Grandpa will never let you suffer any injustice. As he spoke, the old war god looked at Li Xian and said, "Little friend Li, I'm sorry to make you laugh. It's nothing. Xiao Xiao is very cute. I hope she is fine." Li Xian said, "By the way, I also moved to Blue Bay Villa today and live next door. If you have any questions, you can come to me anytime." The old god of war's eyes lit up. "That's great, we should move around more often in the future. I've been so depressed over the years, har har." "No problem, that's it for today. I have something else to do, so I won't bother you anymore." After saying that, Li Xian stood up and said goodbye to the old god of war. After leaving, Li Xian looked at the time and drove away to Wangshan Hotel. Senior sister Ni Feng Wang still lives here. In these troubled times, Li Xian also needs to protect senior sister's safety. "Senior sister, I'm here." Li Xian pushed open Ni Feng Wang's door, but the next second he was stunned where he was. Because Ni Feng Wang was changing clothes at this time, her snow-white skin was exposed to the air, which was dazzling. The exquisite body and the proud breasts made Li Xian's nose suddenly hot and he almost had a nosebleed. "Little junior brother, how is it? Is senior sister beautiful?" When Ni Feng Wang saw Li Xian barging in, she was not angry but gave him a charming smile. "Beautiful, beautiful." Li Xian nodded, then quickly closed the door, as if he was afraid that his senior sister's beauty would be seen by others. Puff. Ni Feng Wang covered her mouth and smiled, and suddenly became charming and beautiful. "Why don't you come over and help you pull up your dress?" Ni Feng Wang said with a smile. "Oh, here it comes." Li Xian came back to his senses and walked forward without looking around. "Senior sister, why did you change into a dress again? Do you have a social event in the evening?" Li Xian asked. "Well, there's a cocktail party to attend." "Why are there so many cocktail parties?" Li Xian curled his lips. Ni Feng Wang stretched out her hand and pinched Li Xian's face, saying, "This is business. Some drinking parties cannot be turned down." "Well, if that's the case, I'll go with you tonight." Li Xian said, "Remove all the bodyguards around you. I will be your driver and bodyguard." "You? Be my driver? Why?" Ni Feng Wang was stunned. "Dongju has been in turmoil lately." Li Xian said solemnly, "Qi Zhonghen failed to assassinate you 2 days ago, I think he will not let it go. And I found out that there have been a lot of transfers of Tianyi Sect's elites recently. I suspect Qi Zhonghen will make another move." Hearing this, a cold look flashed across Ni Feng Wang's eyes. "Humph. I hope he doesn't become a coward." Ni Feng Wang said, "Little junior brother, don't forget that I am your senior sister. I am not powerless. But since you want to accompany me, senior sister is still very happy. Let's go, let's go." So, Ni Feng Wang withdrew all the bodyguards around her, and Li Xian accompanied her to the venue of the cocktail party tonight as a driver. This is a club that is hidden away and is located close to the mountains in the suburbs. If we didn't know it in advance, no one would have thought that there was such a place hidden here. Soon, Li Xian and Ni Feng Wang arrived at their destination. However, just as the two were about to go in, a man blocked Li Xian's way. "Mr. Ni can go in, but you can't." Chapter 16 Sect Master Li Xian. "Mr. Ni can go in, but you can't." A young man blocked Li Xian's way. "Mr. Yao, this is my driver." Ni Feng Wang said. "Har har, since you're the driver, you can't go in." The young man said, "Boss Ni, I hope you understand that if everyone comes in with a driver or bodyguard, it will be a mess here. Besides, a servant should have the awareness of a servant. He should know what occasions he can and cannot enter. I don't need to teach him, right?" Hearing this, Ni Feng Wang frowned and was about to say something, but was quietly stopped by Li Xian. Li Xian shook his head at Ni Feng Wang imperceptibly, then retreated outside cooperatively. Upon seeing this, Ni Feng Wang said nothing more and followed General Manager Yao into the club. After Ni Feng Wang and the young man left, Li Xian appeared at the door of the club again. It seems that this Mr. Yao is the host of today's cocktail party. Li Xian sneered secretly, "A host of a cocktail party didn't go to entertain other guests, but came to stop me from following senior sister in. There is obviously something wrong." Thinking of this, Li Xian picked up his phone and sent a text message to Ni Feng Wang, reminding his senior sister to be careful. In fact, there was no need for Li Xian to remind her deliberately, as Ni Feng Wang had already seen the suspicion. But in order to uncover the conspiracy behind it, she has to take risks. Soon, Li Xian quietly went around to the back of the club. Because this place is surrounded by mountains on all sides, the club is also surrounded by mountains behind it, making it convenient for him to hide among them. Suddenly, Li Xian sensed several obscure auras approaching rapidly, exuding murderous intent. Li Xian quickly restrained his breath, and his figure blended into the night, completely hiding himself. Whoosh! Whoosh! Sure enough, after those figures arrived, they didn't stay for too long and rushed straight into the club from the back. At the same time, Ni Feng Wang had already arrived at the cocktail party under the leadership of Yao Qing. Why are there so few people here? Ni Feng Wang found the scene very deserted, so she asked. Har har, today's wine party focuses on quality, not quantity. Yao Qing said calmly, those who are invited by me, Yao Qing, are all the top figures in Dongju. They will definitely not disappoint Mr. Ni. By the way, there is another highlight at today's reception. What's the highlight? Ni Feng Wang asked. It's an antique from Eastern Europe. I will display it today for everyone to appreciate. Yao Qing said, if Mr. Ni is interested, how about coming upstairs with me to have a look? The others are all upstairs. Okay, since it's a good thing, of course I have to take a look at it. Ni Feng Wang agreed straightforwardly. Har har. Mr. Ni, please follow me. Yao Qing didn't expect Ni Feng Wang to agree so readily, and a hint of excitement flashed across his eyes. What he didn't know was that Ni Feng Wang saw all his reactions but just didn't expose him. Soon, Yao Qing brought Ni Feng Wang to a room upstairs. But the room was empty, and there was no one else upstairs as Yao Qing said. Just me. Ni Feng Wang asked with a frown. Har har, of course. How can we get things done with too many people? Yao Qing suddenly sneered. Yao Qing, what do you mean? Ni Feng Wang scolded. I'm sorry, Mr. Ni, someone wants to buy your life. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for offending someone you shouldn't have offended. After saying that, Yao Qing took out a remote control from his pocket and pressed it hard. Crash! Suddenly, the doors and windows of the room where Ni Feng Wang was closed automatically and was completely sealed. Boss Ni, I know you are powerful, so in order to deal with you, I specially made this mechanism that can only enter but not exit. Yao Qing's voice came from outside, enjoy it. As for your Black Phoenix group, I, Yao, will help you take care of it. Har har har. Bang. 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 Just as Yao Qing finished his words, 3 figures suddenly rushed into the room from the window. The 3 figures were all dressed in black and had cold eyes. They surrounded Ni Feng Wang from 3 directions. Kill. The 3 of them didn't waste any time talking and just rushed towards Ni Feng Wang. Court death. Ni Feng Wang is no pushover either. As Li Xian's senior sister, she is also very skilled. This is also the reason why Yao Qing went to such great lengths to trick her into this room, otherwise he would not be able to trap Ni Feng Wang anywhere else. Crash. The battle was about to break out. The 3 of them launched an attack towards Ni Feng Wang, cooperating with each other tacitly, and each move was aimed at Ni Feng Wang's vital points. Ni Feng Wang grabbed the opponent with her backhand and counterattacked with a knee strike, without retreating at all. However, after all, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands, and the opponent was obviously well prepared. The strength of the 3 people was beyond Ni Feng Wang's imagination. And at this time, Ni Feng Wang also felt that her body was beginning to become slightly weak. It was obvious that aphrodisiac incense had been placed in the room in advance, and Ni Feng Wang was already in a state of poisoning. How despicable! Ni Feng Wang's face was gloomy. Humph! Stop talking nonsense and kill! Bang! Bang! 2 more muffled sounds were heard, and Ni Feng Wang was forced back into a corner, with no way to retreat. The situation was precarious. Are you the Chapeau Lang from the Tianyi Sect? Ni Feng Wang saw through the opponent's trick and said in a cold voice, I am the elder sister of the leader of Tianyi Sect. You have indeed betrayed me. Although the Tianyi Sect's mission is to save the world through medical treatment, it is also a super sect with a huge scale. Therefore, the Tianyi Sect also trains its own killers to facilitate their operations. The three brothers Xiaopo Lang are the best among the Tianyi Sect's killers and have never been defeated since they started their missions. Har har, you actually recognized me. The leader of the three sneered and said, since you already know our identities, we can't let you stay today. Aren't you afraid that the sect leader will kill you for doing this? Ni Feng Wang shouted angrily. Har har. Sect master. The leader sneered, a sect leader who has been missing for 3 years, do you think we will still be afraid of him? To put it bluntly, if he hasn't come back for 3 years, he must have died outside or become useless. Why should I be afraid? As long as you die, Tianyi Sect will naturally have a new leader. Boom. However, at this moment, the originally closed window suddenly exploded. Immediately afterwards, a figure rushed out from the dust and smoke. It was Li Xian. Who is it? Xiaopo Lang's face changed drastically and he shouted loudly. However, what responded to them were 3 cold lights. Whoosh! 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 3 silver needles pierced into their vital points, instantly making them lose their fighting ability. This is the unique skill of the Tianyi Sect, the star-picking hand. The 3 members of Xiaopo Lang looked horrified. Are you the sect leader Li Xian? Chapter 17 I am so disappointed with you. Li Xian put his hands behind his back and looked coldly at the 3 people who had collapsed on the ground in front of him. Xiaopo Lang, my Tianyi Sect has trained you for more than 10 years, why did you do such a thing? Li Xian asked calmly. Master, we. The eyes of Xiaopo Lang and the other 2 were filled with fear. No matter how wildly they shouted before, when they really faced Li Xian, they couldn't help but tremble. Because they knew very well how terrifying this seemingly peaceful sect leader could be when he became really ruthless. When Li Xian took over the Tianyi Sect 3 years ago, his thunderous methods are still fresh in people's memory. Do you know how to deal with betrayal of the sect? Li Xian spoke again. Hearing this, the expressions of Xiaopo Lang and the other 2 became even more terrified, but at this moment their vital points were defeated by Li Xian, and they didn't even have the strength to stand up, let alone escape. Master, I can reveal the mastermind behind this, but I beg you to spare our lives. At this time, Qisha from Xiaopo Lang pleaded. Are you qualified to negotiate with me? Li Xian said indifferently, as for the mastermind behind this, I will naturally settle accounts with him. You betrayed the sect and should be punished with capital punishment, but considering your contributions to the sect, I can give you a quick death. Go on your way, and be a good person in your next life. Bang! 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 No! Li Xian stretched out his hand with an indifferent expression and gently clenched it in the air. The 3 members of Xiaopo Lang instantly exploded into a ball of blood mist. Junior brother. Ni Feng Wang, who was standing by, so that the crisis was resolved, and immediately relaxed and collapsed to the ground. Senior sister. Li Xian took a quick step forward and held Ni Feng Wang in his arms. He looked at Ni Feng Wang's flushed face and rapid breathing, and immediately realized that his senior sister was poisoned. Damn it, it's actually the blood camellia poison. Li Xian felt Ni Feng Wang's pulse and his face suddenly darkened. Although the blood camellia poison would not be fatal, it was extremely troublesome. Even Li Xian could not detoxify it in a short time. Junior brother, I'm so hot. Senior sister lay in Li Xian's arms, her eyes beginning to become blurred. Don't be afraid, senior sister. I'll take you back. Li Xian picked up Ni Feng Wang, kicked the door open, and strode out of the club. Huh? You guys are. At this time, Yao Qing, who was still waiting outside, saw Ni Feng Wang being carried out and was stunned. But before he could escape, Li Xian kicked him away and he fell unconscious on the spot. Li Xian glanced at Yao Qing coldly. If he was not still useful, Li Xian's kick would have taken his life. Luo Jinlong, go to the Rose Club immediately and bring Yao Qing back. Find a way to pry his mouth open. After returning to the car, Li Xian immediately called Luo Jinlong and then drove to Wangshan Hotel. Soon, Li Xian took Ni Feng Wang back to their hotel room. Li Xian immediately laid Ni Feng Wang flat on the bed, took out a silver needle, and began to detoxify her. But the blood camellia toxin is very troublesome. It is mainly used to paralyze people's nerves and cause hallucinations. By the time people realize something is wrong, it is already too late. Therefore, even Li Xian could only alleviate some symptoms but could not completely eliminate the toxins. Fortunately, the blood camellia poison is not fatal and will be fine once the effect of the drug wears off. Junior brother. At this moment, Enifeng Wang's arms wrapped around Li Xian and hugged his neck tightly. Immediately afterwards, Enifeng Wang's pretty face came closer, and a warm feeling flowed into Li Xian's arms. Sister, don't be like this, calm down. Li Xian swallowed hard. He could even smell the fragrance coming out of Enifeng Wang's mouth. However, Enifeng Wang refused to give in and tightly wrapped around Li Xian's body, moving back and forth on his body. Her nose gently brushed across Li Xian's neck, and the fresh scent of teeth made Li Xian's nose feel hot, and he almost couldn't control himself. No, my sister is not in her right mind right now. How can I, Li Xian, take advantage of her when she is in danger? You must be joking. If this gets out, how can I, Li Xian, gain a foothold in the martial arts world and take on the important task of Tianyi Sect? Wait, senior sister, stop blowing, it's too itchy. Li Xian stopped acupuncture and immediately sat down cross-legged like an ascetic monk. He clasped his hands together and muttered something, remaining unmoved by Enifeng Wang's constant teasing. Don't look at anything indecent, don't listen to anything indecent. Tathagata Buddha, Jade Emperor. Stand like a pine tree, sit like a bell, I am still like a bell. What he didn't know was that at this moment, a hint of clarity had flashed in Enifeng Wang's eyes. But after she heard what Li Xian was muttering, she immediately revealed a look of disappointment. So, Enifeng Wang opened her mouth and bit Li Xian's neck to vent her anger. Ayer? Senior sister, why did you bite me? The next morning, Li Xian stood in front of the mirror, grimacing at the teeth marks on his neck, still feeling frightened. Li Xian turned his head and looked at his senior sister who was sleeping soundly, and was glad that he did not do anything out of line yesterday. Otherwise, how would I face my senior sister when she wakes up? It should be said that if Enifeng Wang knew what Li Xian was thinking, he would be bitten twice. Afterwards, Li Xian quietly left Wangshan Hotel and drove back to his residence in Blue Bay Villa. Boss. When Li Xian entered the door, Luo Jinlong was already waiting there. Well, what's the situation? Li Xian asked as he sat down. We have already pried open Yao Qing's mouth, but this guy is probably just a small fry and doesn't know much. Luo Jinlong said, what we can be sure of now is that there should be a sect behind Yao Qing, but we are not sure whether it is Qi Zhongheng. Well, don't let Yao Qing die first. Follow this clue and see if we can find out something else. Li Xian said. Don't worry, boss. I will get to the bottom of this. Luo Jinlong continued, by the way, boss, I have started to contact Sihai Group in the past 2 days. Sun Chengming really hopes that the Warren Group can invest in him to cooperate with him. If nothing unexpected happens, we can sign a contract with them this afternoon. When Li Xian heard this, a sneer appeared on his face. Very good, you can do whatever you want, and take control of Sihai Group as soon as possible. Li Xian said calmly, I heard that Sun Chengming is going to have a wedding soon. I hope I can prepare a surprise for him in time. Clear. Knock, knock, knock. And just at this moment, there was a hurried knock on the door. Li Xian looked up and saw Tang Xiaoxia running in hurriedly. Li Xian, come with me quickly, something happened to Grandpa. Chapter 18. It's all Li Xian's fault. Something happened to the old god of war, and Li Xian followed Tang Xiaoxiao to the next door without saying a word. Sure enough, as soon as he entered the door, Li Xian heard violent coughing, accompanied by a large number of bubble sounds. Obviously something went wrong. If this problem happened to someone else, there would be no need to worry, but the old god of war's body is weak, and if it is not handled properly, it may easily endanger his life. So, Li Xian hurried forward, and then sent out a wisp of breath that slowly flowed into the old god of war's body. Gradually, under Li Xian's intervention, the old god of war's cough finally subsided and he regained his calm. Little friend Li, I'm glad you're here. The old god of war recovered his breath and hurriedly thanked Li Xian. Li Xian waved his hand and said, Old god of war, you are too hasty. Oh, it seems I still can't hide it from you. The old god of war sighed. It turned out that the old war god had been practicing Qigong for the past 2 days. After feeling the changes in his body, he could no longer suppress his inner excitement. So just now, after finishing his Qi Sutra training, the old war god couldn't wait to grab his long sword and try to dance with it. Because the old god of war was also a warrior, he naturally circulated his aura unconsciously while dancing with the sword. Just like that, the originally fragile meridians were impacted. A large amount of cold air surged up and gathered in the lungs, causing severe coughing. Li Xian, is my grandpa okay? Tang Xiaoxiao asked nervously. It's okay now, but don't be so anxious next time. Li Xian said, I just happened to be here this time. If I wasn't here, something serious would have happened. Old God of War, I estimate that it will take another month for you to start moving your aura, so you better be patient during this period. Hearing this, the old God of War could only nod obediently. He was indeed too hasty today, but even if an accident happened, it did not hinder his excitement and excitement. After all these years, he finally felt alive in his body again. And all this is thanks to Li Xian. Bang! Suddenly, at this moment, a figure rushed in hurriedly. Dad, are you okay? Chen Guodong rushed into the villa with a nervous look on his face, and only breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that the old God of War was safe and sound. It turned out that Tang Xiaoxiao saw the old God of War coughing violently just now, and she was so panicked that she could only call her uncle. It was not until later, at the reminder of the old God of War, that Tang Xiaoxiao came to Li Xian for help. It's okay, I just coughed twice. Look how nervous you are, said the old God of War unhappily. Cough? Why are you coughing all of a sudden? Huh? It's you again, you liar. As Chen Guodong was speaking, he suddenly caught a glimpse of Li Xian standing beside him. Li Xian had let the old God of War smoke and drink before, and combined with the old God of War's sudden cough, naturally, Chen Guodong immediately concluded that it was Li Xian's fault. It's all because of you, you liar. You made my dad smoke and drink, which caused him to cough. Chen Guodong became angrier, and shouted angrily, I warned you long ago that I would never forgive you if you wanted to harm my father, and you actually dared to show up. Uncle. You misunderstood. It's not Li Xian's fault. Tang Xiaoxiao immediately helped explain. Go away. What do you know? You've only known him for a few days. Do you know anything about him? Chen Guodong angrily said, he let your grandfather smoke and drink before, and he even called himself a miracle doctor. How can a doctor let a patient smoke? It's all his fault that your grandpa is like this today, and you're still speaking for him. Hearing this, Tang Xiaoxiao was also stunned. What my uncle said is right. At least in the perception of ordinary people, smoking and drinking are bad for the body, let alone a patient. Tang Xiaoxiao didn't understand, so naturally she couldn't speak for Li Xian. Shut up, you little bastard. At this time, the old God of War shouted angrily, have you said enough? If you dare to talk to Li Xiaoyu like this again, I will beat you to a pulp. I know my own body, and Li Xiaoyu is a miracle doctor. Chen Guodong immediately retorted, Dad, you are in this state, and you are still speaking for him. What happened to me? I just coughed twice. The old God of War cursed, I tell you, I am in much better shape now than before, all thanks to little friend Li. Chen Guodong shook his head and said, Dad, you're coughing, how can you still say you're in better shape than before? Besides, even if your health has improved, it's because the medicine Dr. Zhu gave you has taken effect. What does it have to do with this charlatan? Didn't you hear what his ex-wife said? He's just a lazy liar who has accomplished nothing. Bang! Hearing this, the old God of War was furious and slammed the table heavily. Shut up, you rebellious son, I tell you to shut up, the old God of War scolded. However, Chen Guodong refused to give in. He continued, Dad, I will obey you on everything except your health. So you have to listen to me this time. I will take you for a physical examination right now. Don't ever associate with this liar again. Upon hearing this, the old war god also said, okay. Let's have a physical examination. When the report comes out, you will know how wrong you are. When the time comes, if it is proven that Li Xiaoyu is not a liar, I will make you kneel down in front of Li Xiaoyu and kowtow to apologize. Chen Guodong was naturally unwilling to accept it, and immediately said, okay. I promise you, but if he is a liar, I will not allow him to appear here in the future. Go now and arrange a physical examination for me immediately. The old god of war snorted coldly, and without saying anything more to Chen Guodong, he stood up. Xiao Xiao, don't follow me. Help me accompany Li Xiaoyu and apologize to him. After saying that, the old god of war took Chen Guodong and strode out. Hey, how did it turn out like this? After the old god of war and Chen Guodong left, Tang Xiaoxiao said something with a pout. Don't think too much. Facts speak louder than words. Things will become clear sooner or later. Li Xian was very calm and just smiled lightly. Li Xian, why does your uncle say you are a liar? Are you really a liar? Tang Xiaoxiao asked. Do you think I am? I don't think you are. Tang Xiaoxiao shook her head. That's it, isn't it? Li Xian chuckled, then turned around and prepared to leave. Hey, where are you going? Tang Xiaoxiao caught up. Of course I'm going back to sleep. Are you going to stay here and wait for me? But my grandpa asked me to stay with you. Tang Xiaoxiao said, how about this, I just need to go shopping, can you come with me? So does this count as me accompanying you or you accompanying me? Li Xian asked with a smile. Oh. It's all the same. I just arrived in Dongju and I only know you, so just keep me company. Tang Xiaoxiao grabbed Li Xian's arm and shook it. Li Xian smiled helplessly and could only agree. Then he drove Tang Xiaoxiao to the largest shopping mall in Dongju to go shopping. However, just as the two of them walked onto the second floor of the shopping mall, they ran into Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue who had just walked out of a bridal shop. Hey! Isn't this Li Xian the garbage collector? Sun Chengming recognized Li Xian at a glance and said sarcastically, why, you dare to come to such a high-end mall? Can you afford the things here? Chapter 19 is really exciting. Li Xian didn't expect that he and Tang Xiaoxiao had just arrived at the mall when they met Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue again. This is not fate, but bad luck. It's you again. Li Xian looked calm and didn't say much. TSK, you are quite capable. You have deceived Qingxue of our family for 3 years, and now you have deceived another woman. Sun Chengming taunted, if she knew you were a lazy loser, I wonder if she would still stand with you. At this time, Zhao Qingxue also started to sneer. That's right, girl, you'd better be more careful. This man was rummaging through the garbage at my doorstep 2 days ago. He can't give you anything. Zhao Qingxue sneered. Who are you? Tang Xiaoxiao was speechless. No matter what kind of person Li Xian was, he wouldn't be so shameless, right? This woman is my ex-wife. Li Xian explained. Tang Xiaoxiao immediately showed a look of understanding. Chen Guodong seemed to have mentioned Li Xian's ex-wife just now. However, in Tang Xiaoxiao's opinion, Zhao Qingxue was definitely not a good person as he spoke so harshly. So Tang Xiaoxiao also gave them a good look. Tang Xiaoxiao curled her lips and said, what does it have to do with you? Oh? You're quite stubborn. It's really none of our business. We are just reminding you kindly. Sun Chengming said lightly. Li Xian glanced at the two of them and said, do you have so much free time? You have completely forgotten about being kicked out of the Black Phoenix group. TSK, isn't it just the Black Phoenix group? Do you think we care? Zhao Qingxue said proudly, Li Xian, to tell you the truth, Cheng Ming has just finalized the cooperation agreement with Warren Group, and the contract will be signed this afternoon. The Warren Group is no less powerful than the Black Phoenix Group. Our Sihai Group can still soar to the sky. At this time, Sun Chengming also revealed an arrogant look and really enjoyed Zhao Qingxue's pursuit. Li Xian, see? This is the gap between you and me. Sun Chengming said proudly, I know you don't accept it, but sometimes the truth is so cruel. Some people are destined to be the ones you will look up to for the rest of your life. And I can rub you on the ground just by moving my toes. Li Xian had a calm expression on his face and said sarcastically, so it's the Warren Group. Then I have to congratulate you. Har har. You're just jealous. You're probably crying inside. Sun Chengming said, this time, the Warren Group has decided to invest 5 billion to cooperate with our Sihai Group. You heard it right, a full 5 billion. Even a fraction of that is money you can never earn in your entire life. Zhao Qingxue also mocked, that's right, you saw it, right. Chengming and I are here to choose wedding dresses today. Chengming loves me very much. A wedding dress costs more than 3 million. My life has really started to be wonderful after leaving you. Zhao Qingxue said, come to think of it, I should thank you. If you hadn't divorced me, how could I be so happy today? So, I'm going to have my wedding with Chengming this weekend, and I specially invite you to witness my happiness. What do you think? Do you dare to come? Har har. Let him see how big the gap is between him and me. Li Xian raised his eyebrows, then nodded calmly and actually agreed. It's the weekend, right? Don't worry, I'll be there. Har har. That's great. I also want to see what your expression will be like then. Sun Chengming laughed loudly, then took Zhao Qingxue away. In their imagination, their wedding would shock Li Xian beyond words, and then he would be humiliated by them until he felt ashamed. Hey! Are you really going to attend the wedding of these two guys? Tang Xiaoxiao asked speechlessly. Har har, how can I not go when you invite me so warmly? Li Xian said calmly, just wait and see, that day will definitely be very exciting. The next day, Luo Jinlong came to Li Xian again. Boss, I have signed a contract with Sun Chengming this afternoon. Luo Jinlong sneered. At first, when he saw so many people from the Warren Group were going to move into Sihai, he was a little hesitant. But it is clear that Sihai Group's capital chain problem is already very serious, so Sun Chengming signed it in the end. Li Xian sat on the sofa, tapping his thigh lightly with his fingers, a sneer on his face. You did a good job, continue as planned. Li Xian said. By the way, boss, our people discovered some interesting things after entering Sihai Group. Luo Jinlong said. Tell me about it. Luo Jinlong organized it and said, first, when our people checked Sihai's accounts, they found that Sun Chengming had many illegal operations. Based on this alone, we can remove President Sun Chengming from his position and even put him in jail. After a pause, Luo Jinlong continued. In addition, we also discovered that Sun Chengming has actually been secretly annexing the shares of the Xinshua Group, and even the acquisition contract has been prepared. Hearing this, Li Xian sat up and became interested immediately. New Snow Group. Yes, it's the company of the boss's ex-wife Zhao Qingxue. Luo Jinlong said, and we found out that Sun Chengming had actually been married abroad a long time ago, and he has 2 children. His fundamental purpose in marrying Zhao Qingxue was actually to annex the Zhao family's assets. Also, Sun Chengming has already started to prepare a way out for himself by transferring funds and so on. That is to say, as long as Sun Chengming gets the Xinshua Group, Zhao Qingxue will be kicked out by him and file for divorce directly. After hearing this, Li Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect that Sun Chengming had such deep thoughts in mind. Thinking of Zhao Qingshue's arrogant look, I wonder what expression she will have when she is abandoned. There are also Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan. They regard Sun Chengming as a rich son-in-law. Har har, it's really exciting. Li Xian chuckled and said, I'm already looking forward to the weekend. This wedding will definitely be very interesting then. Time passed slowly and soon it was the weekend. Today is the wedding day of Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue. Li Xian also changed his clothes and went to the wedding scene. He arrived here early with a faint smile on his face. Outsiders thought he was happy for the newlyweds, but only Li Xian himself knew that he was looking forward to the good show today. At this moment, Chen Guodong actually walked out of his home in Blue Bay Villa and prepared to go to the wedding scene. Commander Chen, we have already found out that Li Xian has no background at all. He is just an ordinary person. The subordinate reported to Chen Guodong, although we don't know how he got connected with the Black Phoenix Group, this relationship should not be reliable. Chen Guodong nodded and said in a cold voice, in that case, let's get rid of this kid today to prevent him from harming my father again. Commander, the Old War God's physical examination report will be out soon. Should we wait for the results? Asked the subordinate. No need. I want to expose this liar's true face in front of everyone. Chapter 20. Do you really dare to come? The wedding scene of Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue. I have to say that this wedding was really well planned, and the whole scene was decorated to be warm and romantic. In particular, the aisle in the center of the venue, which was covered with flowers, symbolized the beginning of the road to happiness and attracted many guests to take photos and check in. On the outskirts of the scene, there were more than a dozen luxury buses parked to pick up guests from afar. For this wedding, Sun Chengming even booked a hotel nearby to accommodate the guests. A gathering of famous cars and celebrities. Even many bigwigs from the business and political circles arrived to send their blessings to the two newlyweds. From this, it can be seen that Sihai Group still has a considerable status in Dongju. After all, it is one of the top conglomerates in Dongju, so this bit of face should be given. At this time, Li Xian entered the scene and casually found a seat and sat down. He looked very calm, as if all this had nothing to do with him and he was just an ordinary guest who came to watch the fun. But in fact it is true. Since Li Xian has divorced Zhao Qingxue, everything about Zhao Qingxue has nothing to do with him and will not cause any waves for him. Because Li Xian has more important people to protect, he would not focus on his ex-wife at all. If Zhao Qingxue and Sun Mingcheng had not committed suicide again and again, Li Xian would not be here today. You really have the nerve to come here. Suddenly, a voice came into Li Xian's ears. Li Xian looked back and saw that they were his former father-in-law and mother-in-law, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan. At this moment, the two men had sarcastic looks on their faces, and they stared at Li Xian as if they were staring at the god of plague. Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue invited me so sincerely, so of course I have to come. After all, we had a connection there before. Li Xian said lightly. Humph. You're bringing shame upon yourself. Zhao Renfu taunted, if you leave our Zhao family, you probably won't even have food to eat, right? You coward. You can eat as much as you want today. If you can't finish it, I allow you to pack it up. At least you won't be hungry for a few days. Zhang Hualan sneered, boy, you're lucky. If Chengming and Qingxue hadn't told me, I would really want to kick you out. Don't worry about him. Let him see how good Chengming is today. Let's go. After saying this, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan put away their harsh expressions on their faces, put on smiling faces, and greeted other people. Li Xian didn't take it seriously. He had been with Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan for 3 years, so how could Li Xian not understand their personalities? These two people are pure bullies who only bully the weak and fear the strong, and who curry favor with the powerful. They act arrogantly in front of ordinary people and become servile in front of more powerful people. Har har, wait and see what expressions you will have later. Li Xian chuckled, and then waited silently. It was almost noon and a large number of guests were pouring into the wedding scene, making it very lively. In a short while, the wedding venue was full of guests and filled with noise. From time to time, the loudspeaker on site could be heard telling you that a certain president or leader was attending the banquet. This seems to be a sign of respect for the distinguished guest status, but in fact Sun Chengming is secretly elevating himself and showing off his connections. Har har. This idiot is really here. Not long after Li Xian sat down, Sun Chengming came over with his arm around Zhao Qingxue. Li Xian, see? This is the gap between you and Chengming. Zhao Qingxue said sarcastically, now you can see the reality clearly. Don't fantasize about having any intersection with me anymore. I haven't thought about it. Li Xian said calmly. TSK, you're just trying to be stubborn. Zhao Qingxue sneered. At this time, Sun Chengming also spoke up, Li Xian, since you are here, just sit down and see how Qingxue is truly happy. Everything you see now is a manifestation of my ability. Just learn some lessons now, know your own position in the future, and don't mess with people you can't afford to mess with. Li Xian smiled faintly, okay, I'll give you the same words. I hope you'll be this happy today. The mockery on Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue's faces was extremely strong, and at this moment they felt a kind of pleasure in their hearts as if they had trampled Li Xian under their feet. Afterwards, the two left and no longer paid attention to Li Xian's existence. Li Xian looked at the backs of the two men, a cruel smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. The president of Warren Group, Luo Zhenlong, wishes the newlyweds a happy wedding. At this moment, a reading was heard again from the loudspeaker on site. Wow! Suddenly, their whole audience was boiling with exclamations one after another. This is the president of Warren Group. How could he be here too? You know, the Warren Group was extremely low-key before this and almost never attended any private occasions. Coupled with the strength of the Warren Group, in the eyes of everyone, Luo Zhenlong of the Warren Group is an extremely proud person. But unexpectedly, Luo Zhenlong came in person. How shocking was that? All of a sudden, everyone began to look at Sihai Group and Sun Chengming with admiration. At this time, Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue also hurriedly put down their current social engagements and ran to the entrance, including Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan. A group of people surrounded Luo Zhenlong and walked towards the center of the scene. That is the so-called main seat. Apart from the bride and groom, only people with sufficient status can sit here. Flattery. Li Xian watched this scene silently and couldn't help but sneer. This posture makes it seem as if Luo Zhenlong is the protagonist today. However, just when everyone was still immersed in the surprise of Luo Zhenlong's arrival, another black red flag sedan stopped at the door. Hiss. The person in charge of reception outside took a look at the license plate number and immediately took a breath of cold air, then quickly notified Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue to come and greet them. Bang! The car door was opened, and a burly and dignified man got out of the car, accompanied by several bodyguards with their backs straight. Chen, Commander Chen. After Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingshu arrived, they were immediately excited beyond words. I didn't expect that they were so prestigious that even Commander Chen from the War Department came. Chen Guodong stopped and simply nodded after seeing the two of them. Chen Guodong said, "You guys take care of your things, I'll find someone." "Who is Commander Chen looking for?" "I can help you ask." Sun Chengming said immediately. "Li Xian." Chen Guodong said coldly. Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingshu were stunned and asked, "Why are you looking for him?" "But he is indeed here. He and I have some personal grudges to settle." "Don't worry, I won't disturb you," Chen Guodong said. Chapter 21. That bastard wants to piss me off to death. Hearing Chen Guodong's words, Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingshu immediately breathed a sigh of relief. And it seems that Chen Guodong has a grudge against Li Xian and is here to cause trouble today. Even though this happened at their own wedding, they still hoped that Chen Guodong would make a bigger fuss and bring disgrace to Li Xian. Har har, I see. Commander Chen, just go ahead and don't worry about us. Sun Chengming said, Li Xian is really courting death. He even dares to offend someone of your status. He must be tired of living. Commander Chen, would you like me to take you there directly? No need, I'll find it myself. Chen Guodong didn't want to waste time on the two of them, so he just gave up. Besides, the reason why Chen Guodong came here had nothing to do with the two of them. It was purely because Li Xian was here, so he followed him. Afterwards, Chen Guodong strode into the scene, his eyes as sharp as an eagle's, searching for Li Xian's whereabouts. After Chen Guodong left, Sun Chengming immediately ordered the receptionist to make the announcement. Mr. Sun, do you really want to report it? This is Commander Chen of the South China War Department. The subordinates were a little hesitant. Why are you panicking? Just report it when I tell you to, don't talk nonsense. Sun Chengming scolded. The subordinates had no choice but to agree. Immediately afterwards, an impassioned voice was heard at the scene. The commander of the South China War Department, Chen Guodong, wishes the newlyweds a long and happy marriage. Wow! The scene exploded instantly. Luo Jinlong's appearance before was already jaw-dropping, and now even the commander of the War Department has come. Suddenly, everyone looked at the groom with new eyes, and secretly made up their minds that they must get closer to Sun Chengming in the future. However, when Chen Guodong heard the broadcast, he frowned and glanced coldly behind him. Obviously Chen Guodong was very dissatisfied with Sun Chengming's move. However, Chen Guodong did not say much at this time. After all, the most important thing now was to find Li Xian. HMPH. I found you. Suddenly, Chen Guodong's gaze stopped at a corner, and then he strode towards there. Soon Chen Guodong came in front of Li Xian. His burly body blocked the sunlight and cast a shadow on Li Xian. Something. Li Xian raised his eyebrows. I've already found out that you and Mr. Ni are not siblings at all. Chen Guodong said coldly. Li Xian looked calm. So what? What? You tried to deceive my father, do you think I would let you go? Chen Guodong sneered. Before, I gave you a chance for Mr. Ni's sake, but you didn't repent. Even my niece was kept in the dark by you. Now that I've discovered that your relationship with Mr. Ni is fake, you don't have any protection anymore. Today, I will arrest you for treason. Be prepared to follow me. When Li Xian heard this, his brows furrowed. Treason? Aren't you putting too much of an accusation on me? Li Xian said dimly. Humph. You tried to deceive the retired senior officials of the War Department and get close to the family members of the War Department. Do you think this is a small matter? Chen Guodong said coldly, I don't care what your purpose is in approaching us, but I will never let you succeed. Chen Guodong, not everyone wants to take advantage of you, and things that you haven't seen don't mean they don't exist. Li Xian shook his head calmly. From my perspective, I only helped the old god of war because Mr. Ni asked me to. From beginning to end, I never took any advantage from you. That's because I discovered your trick in time. Chen Guodong sneered, even if you reveal this day to day, you can't escape. Don't put up a pointless resistance, just surrender. I don't want to make the scene too ugly. Upon hearing this, Li Xian sat still, motionless, and did not take Chen Guodong seriously at all. If you have the guts, just attack me. Li Xian said calmly, but I warn you, if anything happens, you will bear the consequences yourself. Just as Li Xian finished speaking, there was another burst of noise at the scene. It turned out that it was President Yang of the Dongju Business Association who arrived to send his blessings to the newlyweds. Chen Guodong's face darkened. Chairman Yang was a man of high moral character and prestige, so even he, Chen Guodong, had to treat him with the courtesy of a junior. Now that this person is present, if a fight really breaks out, he might be blamed. Chen Guodong may not care about Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue, but he has to pay attention to the existence of this elder. Very good. I just promised Sun Chengming that I would not disturb his wedding. Chen Guodong said coldly, but you'd better not have any luck. As long as you leave the scene or once the wedding is over, I will arrest you immediately. Li Xian smiled faintly, let's wait and see. At this time, on the other side. Blue Bay Villa area. Grandpa, it's time for lunch. Tang Xiaoxiao came to the study and shouted. Here I come. The old god of war slowly stopped practicing Qi Sutra, and then walked out refreshed. Ding dong. However, at this moment, the doorbell rang and a middle-aged man who looked like a doctor walked in. In his hand, he held a detailed physical examination report, which was the result of the physical examination of the old god of war. Old god of war, your physical examination report is out. According to the report, your body functions are indeed improving. The doctor said excitedly, this improvement is unprecedented. If you continue at this rate, you may even live another 10 years. Real. Tang Xiaoxiao on the side immediately took the report. Even though she didn't understand it, she still read it carefully. Har har. I told you that I'm feeling better, but that bastard just didn't believe me. The old god of war said, by the way, where is Guodong? Call him back quickly. I want him to see this report. This. The doctor looked embarrassed. What? You don't dare to fight? Asked the old god of war disdainfully. No, in fact, the commander left half an hour ago. I heard that he went to cause trouble for the young man named Li Xian, the doctor replied. What? The old god of war stood up in an instant, his face suddenly becoming extremely gloomy. Li Xian was his savior, and now he is his life-saving straw. If Chen Guodong really messed things up, he would not be able to accept it in any way. Damn it. This bastard just wants to piss me off to death. The old war god immediately scolded, Xiao Xiao, go find your uncle right now and ask him to apologize to Li Xiaoyu. If this gets out of hand, I will make him pay. Oh, wait a minute, take these things with you. The old god of war quickly returned to the study and took out the medicine that Chen Guodong had brought. I never took the medicine he gave me before. This medical report is enough to prove Li Xiaoyu's innocence. Chapter 22 The Boss of Warren Group. At this time, the wedding scene. It is already noon, the auspicious time has arrived. Boom. Romantic music immediately sounded at the scene and the wedding officially began. Soon, a famous host from Dongju TV came in a suit, holding a microphone and stood in the center of the stage. Hello, dear guests, dear friends, I am the host Xiaoyu. Welcome everyone to the wedding of Mr. Sun Chengming and Ms. Zhao Qingxue. On this special day, in this place where even the air smells sweet, our bride and groom finally embark on a new journey in life. From now on, life is about money, food, clothing, housing, and transportation, and we rely on each other and support each other. Now, the road to happiness has been paved, let us invite the newlyweds to make a shining debut. Crash. Instantly, there was endless applause. Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue enjoyed the applause very much. Under everyone's attention, they walked to the center of the stage arm in arm. They felt the admiration of many people and their inner vanity was greatly satisfied. Next, let us invite the bride, Zhao Qingxue, to say a few words for us. At this time, their host Xiaoyu handed the microphone to Zhao Qingxue. Of course, this was what Zhao Qingxue had said before the wedding, and she also needed to use this opportunity to clear herself. Thank you all for your blessings and applause. I really appreciate you. Zhao Qingxue's face was full of sincerity as she said, it is also because of your support that I have the courage to speak out some of my true feelings. Perhaps everyone knows that I actually had an unhappy marriage before. Zhao Qingxue began her performance, almost in tears, criticizing Li Xian as worthless. Li Xian, my ex-husband, has done nothing for 3 whole years since he married into the Zhao family. He has been idle and cheating people every day. I even despise many of his behaviors. Fortunately, God had mercy on me and I was able to completely get rid of this parasite and meet my true love, Sun Chengming. Zhao Qingxue said, Chengming loves me very much. He is the Prince Charming that all women dream of. He is sincere and loving. He is the most perfect man, and I will spend the rest of my life with him, doing my best to love and support him. Whether it's family or career, I will do everything a wife should do. Thank you everyone. Crash. Zhao Qingxue's words immediately triggered applause from the audience. Whether it was sincere or fake, everyone was very cooperative at this time. However, the people at the scene still remembered the name Li Xian and whispered to each other. Har har, I knew before that the Zhao family had a son-in-law, but I rarely saw him show up. I thought he was keeping a low profile, but now it seems he doesn't dare to show up. It's really strange that he can be so worthless by his ex-wife. I really want to see what Li Xian looks like. If she wasn't such a scumbag, why would the bride make such accusations at the wedding? While everyone was talking about Li Xian himself remained very calm. He gently sipped the red wine in the glass, his expression calm, as if everything had nothing to do with him. TSK, calling you a swindler is flattering you. You are even worse than I thought. At this time, Chen Guodong, who was sitting next to Li Xian, sneered. Oh? It turns out that Commander Chen is so arbitrary. He judged everything about me based on just a few words from a woman. Li Xian said lightly. Humph. Are you still pretending? I've seen through you. Then I can only say that Commander Chen is average at judging people. You. Chen Guodong was furious, but he still endured it. He sneered, har har, you remain calm even when being belittled like this. I should admire you for this at least. Li Xian said calmly, what you see is not necessarily true. Eyes and ears can deceive people, and feelings can also deceive people. Commander Chen, I still say that facts speak louder than words. If you really want to, it will come to light sooner or later. Crash. At this time, there was another round of applause from the audience. Their host Xiaoyu said to the microphone again, Dear guests, let's ask the groom to say a few words for us. Sun Chengming immediately stepped forward and cleared his throat. This was also the process he had prepared in advance. However, his purpose was not to humiliate Li Xian, but to build momentum for his Sihai group. Sure enough, Sun Chengming took the microphone and announced the cooperation between Sihai and Warren Group. Thank you Mr. Luo, the president of Warren Group, for your trust and support. He chose me among the many financial groups in Dongju, and invested 5 billion to sign a strategic cooperation agreement with Sihai Group. Wow! There was an uproar at the scene. The Warren Group and the Sihai Group actually reached a cooperation agreement, and the amount was a full 5 billion. This is a huge project that is enough to make people jealous. I didn't expect Sun Chengming to be so capable. After being rejected by the Black Phoenix Group at Wangshan Hotel, he unexpectedly got close to the big tree of Warren Group. Sun Chengming showed a look of satisfaction and arrogance. The more shocked the people at the scene were, the more excited he became, and this was exactly the result he wanted. Okay, then next, we would like to invite Mr. Luo Zhenlong, the president of Warren Group, to come on stage and say a few words to us. Please welcome him with applause. Soon, Luo Zhenlong slowly came to the center of the stage under the gaze of everyone and was watched by the entire audience. The applause and cheers when Luo Zhenlong came on stage were even louder than when a newlywed couple came on stage. Thank you, everyone. Luo Zhenlong nodded slightly and said, in fact, there are many people here who are more prestigious than me. The bride and groom are so flattering to me that I really can't bear it. Everyone at the scene smiled knowingly, thinking that Luo Zhenlong was being modest. After all, the strength of the Warren Group is there. Even though President Jiang is highly respected and has great influence in Dongju, this is an era that emphasizes strength. So President Jiang himself had no objection to this, and he also smiled and applauded Luo Zhenlong on the stage. However, just when everyone thought that Luo Zhenlong was going to send his blessings to the newlyweds, his next words made the entire audience stunned. So I think I should ask Mr. Li Xian, the real boss of our Warren Group, to say a few words to everyone. Luo Zhenlong said loudly, please welcome my boss, Mr. Li Xian. As soon as the words fell, everyone in the audience was stunned, and many people showed expressions of extreme shock. What's going on? Why is the name Luo Zhenlong mentioned just now exactly the same as the scumbag ex-husband Zhao Qingxue mentioned? Did we hear it wrong? Chapter 23, twists and turns again. Everyone in the audience was stunned and shocked. If they heard correctly, then Luo Jinglong's boss, the real boss behind the Warren Group, should be named Li Xian. Few people knew this name before. But after Zhao Qingshue's tearful accusation, almost everyone in the audience was familiar with this name. Ex-husband Li Xian? Li Xian, the real boss of Warren Group. How could such a coincidence happen in this world? Etc. Everyone felt that they were a little confused. Zhao Qingshue's ex-husband was called Li Xian, and in her description, Li Xian was a useless son-in-law who did nothing. But now, this loser has transformed into the boss of Warren Group. More importantly, this useless ex-husband actually took out 5 billion to invest in his ex-wife's new husband. In an instant, everyone was in chaos. This thing is so exciting that it almost burns their CPUs. Obviously, the cooperation between Warren Group and Sihai Group is not simple. At this moment, the ones who were even more shocked and panicked were Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue. Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan also had a look of horror on their faces. No way. Could the boss Li Xian mentioned by Luo Jinlong be the Li Xian they imagined? If this is true, their good days may be over. Hey! This Luo Jinlong. At this time, Li Xian, who was originally sitting below preparing to watch the fun, shook his head helplessly, then slowly stood up. He glanced at Chen Guodong, who was also stunned, and said calmly, "Commander Chen, I'll go up and deal with it and be back soon." Chen Guodong looked at Li Xian walking towards the stage with a look of disbelief. Is he really the boss behind the Warren Group? If this is true, then Li Xian's identity is probably much more complicated than he imagined. Li Xian slowly walked to the center of the stage and took the microphone from Luo Jinlong. When Sun Chengming and his companions saw this scene, their hearts, which had been hanging in the air, completely sank to the bottom. It's really him. It's really this Li Xian. Boss. Luo Jinlong bowed respectfully to Li Xian, then stepped aside. Li Xian nodded and glanced calmly at Sun Chengming and others behind him. Just this one look made several people tremble and almost fall to the ground. Hello everyone, I am the idle and deceitful ex-husband Li Xian in your mind. Li Xian said calmly, originally I didn't plan to come on stage to speak, but since Luo Jinlong invited me, I'll just say a few words. Here, I wish the newlyweds a long and happy marriage. After saying that, Li Xian nodded to everyone, handed the microphone to Luo Jinlong, turned around and walked off the stage, returning to his original seat. There was silence at the scene, and everyone present sat there awkwardly. At this point, they didn't even know whether to applaud or not. Compared with the silence at the scene, Sun Chengming and Zhao Qingxue were struck by lightning and were shaking all over. They could never have imagined that Li Xian, who had been married into the Zhao family for 3 years and had achieved nothing, was actually the behind-the-scenes boss of the Warren Group. Before, they had mocked Li Xian to the extreme and even forced him to rummage through the garbage. Now that Li Xian's identity has been revealed, their fate will probably be miserable. With the strength of the Warren Group, it would be easy to bring them down. Especially when considering Luo Jinlong's previous series of actions, including suddenly taking the initiative to find Sihai Group to sign a cooperation agreement. There's something weird about all of this. Thinking of this, Sun Chengming broke out in a cold sweat and had a bad feeling in his heart. Sure enough, at this moment, Luo Jinlong picked up the microphone and started speaking again. However, this time, Luo Jinlong's expression was completely different from before. Luo Jinlong had a gloomy face and said in a cold voice, "Everyone, just now, I received a call from the board of directors. As a partner of Sihai Group, our Warren Group discovered that Sihai Group's internal accounts were in disarray and suspected of tax evasion involving a huge amount of money. We have now called the police. In addition, with the unanimous approval of the board of directors, we have decided to remove Sun Chengming from his position as president of Sihai Group, and I will temporarily serve as the president of Sihai Group." Wow! The whole audience was shocked. Ever since Li Xian's identity was exposed, people present guessed that things would not be that simple. But they didn't expect the change to come so quickly and so suddenly. No! You can't do this. At this time, Sun Chengming came to his senses and was so anxious that he almost went crazy. The Sihai Group that he had worked so hard to build was actually handed over to someone else, and he ended up with such a fate. Sun Chengming finally understood why Luo Jinlong was willing to invest 5 billion and why the Warren Group sent so many elites to join the senior management of the Sihai Group. From the very beginning, they were seeking revenge, just to swallow up the Sihai Group and leave Sun Chengming with nothing. You despicable person, this is a conspiracy, all of this is fake. Sun Qingming's eyes turned red, and he rushed forward and pointed at Luo Zhenlong and scolded him. I'm telling you, Sihai Group belongs to me, Sun Chengming. Don't even think about taking it away from me. Oh? But now Sihai Group is in my hands. Luo Zhenlong sneered and said calmly, I followed completely legal procedures, and all contracts are legally binding. As for your dismissal, it was because you committed illegal acts. Who can you blame? If you are not satisfied, feel free to file an appeal. The Warren Group will fight you to the end. Hearing this, Sun Chengming's eyes went dark and he almost fainted. Boss Luo, how could you do this? Don't you feel guilty for lying to us like this? At this time, Zhao Qingxue also rushed up and shouted at Luo Zhenlong. He is suspected of committing a crime. It is his own problem. I am not targeting you. Luo Zhenlong said calmly, besides, do you think Sun Chengming really loves you and wants to stay with you forever? You are so naive, wake up. As he spoke, Luo Zhenlong took out a stack of documents and threw them directly at Zhao Qingxue. He had already been married abroad and had 2 children. The reason he married you was just to take over your Zhao family's Xinxue group. Luo Zhenlong said coldly, if you look at the fund movement in the documents, it is clear at a glance that he has been secretly transferring your property since he got the shares of Xinxue group. Now, your Xinxue group is nothing more than an empty shell, and you, Zhao Qingxue, have to bear more than $1 billion in debt for him. Open your eyes and see clearly. Chapter 24 Begging for Li Xian's forgiveness. What? No. This isn't true. Zhao Qingxue was like a madman, constantly flipping through the documents that Luo Zhenlong threw at her. However, every piece of information above shocked her. Sun Chengming married her, and then acquired shares in the name of investment, owning a large number of shares in the Xinxue group. What followed was a large amount of asset transfer, which gradually turned the Xinxue group into a shell company. Zhao Qingxue never imagined that the president of the Sihai group would be so despicable as to target her tiny Xinxue group. What's even more hateful is that Sun Chengming had indeed married someone else abroad and had 2 children. What she thought was happiness and sweetness was actually just a mistress. No, she wasn't even a mistress, because Sun Chengming was already preparing to kick her out and had even prepared the divorce agreement. Zhao Qingxue was just a stupid joke from beginning to end. Chengming, tell me this is not true. Zhao Qingxue rushed towards Sun Chengming frantically. Why did you do this to me? How could you do this to me? At this time, Sun Chengming was already distracted, so how could he have the time to pay attention to her? Get away. You bitch. Sun Chengming pushed Zhao Qingxue to the ground, then took out his cell phone and called the company. Until this time, he was still holding on to the fantasy that all this was not real. However, the dead tone on the phone gradually made him collapse. If nothing happened at the company, how could no one answer the phone? President John, please save me. At this time, Sun Chengming seemed to suddenly think of something, and looked at Chairman Yang in the audience as if he was a life-saving straw. However, President Yang shook his head at him in disappointment, his eyes full of regret. At this time, Zhao Qingxue, who was pushed to the ground, also fell silent. Judging from Sun Chengming's attitude when he pushed her down, the information in Luo Zhenlong's hand is most likely true. Zhao Qingxue thought she was smart and that she had found a strong support system, but she never expected such a result. In order to please Sun Chengming and show her determination, she even kept making trouble for Li Xian and belittled him as worthless. But who would have thought that things would turn around and Li Xian actually hid his identity? If Zhao Qingxue had been nicer to Li Xian, perhaps Li Xian would have helped the Zhao family to soar to success long ago. Originally, she had the right time, place and people, and everything was within her reach. But now, she has messed up everything. Thinking of this, Zhao Qingxue fell into deep despair and almost fell off the stage. Qingxue. Seeing this, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan rushed over to support their daughter who was about to faint. They were also terrified and at a loss. As Zhao Qingxue's parents, they also contributed a lot to the whole incident. He was sarcastic and mean to Li Xian, but was extremely fawning when trying to please Sun Chengming. Now it seems that they are pushing their daughter towards the abyss step by step. Now looking at Li Xian, who was calm and composed off the court, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan wished they could find a hole in the ground to crawl into. Click. At this time, Sun Chengming fell to the ground in despair and didn't even notice that his cell phone had fallen. Just now he made several calls for help, but they were all rejected one by one. At this juncture, no one dared to have anything to do with him. The Sihai group has been completely controlled by the Warren group. Not only him, but many other company executives are also under investigation. Sun Chengming knew that he was completely finished. At this moment, the scene was silent. All the guests were silent, even frightened. There were loudspeakers on the stage, and everything that happened was clearly heard by them. Sihai is finished, and the Zhao family is finished. Today was supposed to be a happy day for the newlyweds, but it turned into their nightmare. And all this is because of the man named Li Xian. The people present were not stupid, they immediately understood the whole story. Li Xian was kicked out of the Zhao family, and the family even tried to kill him. And starting from the cooperation between Warren Group and Sihai, all this was actually Li Xian's revenge. It was so horrible that he had brought down Sun Chengming in such a short time and even made Sihai Group his trophy. For a moment, many people looked at Li Xian with awe and fear. They had just been talking about Li Xian, fearing that they would be hated by this terrible man. Har har, it's quite exciting. At this time, Li Xian sat in his seat, watching everything with interest, as if he was just a spectator. Chen Guodong was sitting aside, and his expression became extremely solemn at this moment. Li Xian's identity as the boss of Warren Group should be confirmed, there is no doubt about it. But since Li Xian has such an identity, it is enough to show that he is not simple. Coupled with Ni Fenghuang's attitude towards him that day, Chen Guodong couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Someone with this kind of identity shouldn't bother to deceive them, right? Uncle! Uncle! Just as Chen Guodong was thinking, Tang Xiaoxiao rushed over in a hurry. Grandpa's physical examination report is out, his health is indeed getting better, Li Xian is not a liar. Tang Xiaoxiao was panting, then handed the physical examination report to Chen Guodong. Chen Guodong frowned, took the physical examination report and started to look through it. Although he is not a doctor, he has read the old man's physical examination report countless times and can tell whether it is good or bad at a glance. Sure enough, according to the physical examination report, all functions of the old war god's body are improving, which is a very good momentum. Humph! Even if his health has improved, so what? This doesn't prove that it's all Li Xian's credit, right? Chen Guodong still didn't want to believe it, and said, and don't forget, your grandpa has been taking the medicine prescribed by Dr. Zhu all this time. Perhaps all these improvements are due to Dr. Zhu's efforts, and have nothing to do with Li Xian. Crash! As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Xiaoxiao took out several medicine bottles from her pocket. Uncle, look what this is. Tang Xiaoxiao said. This is. Chen Guodong's pupils dilated instantly. Tang Xiaoxiao said, Grandpa knows you don't believe it, so he asked me to bring these medicine bottles to you. In fact, from beginning to end, he never took the medicine you gave him. What? Chen Guodong stood up from his seat with an expression of disbelief on his face. The old god of war didn't take any medicine at all, and the only person who had treated him during this period was Li Xian. In other words, Li Xian can really cure the old war god's illness. Uncle, Grandpa said that you should admit defeat and get Li Xian's forgiveness. Tang Xiaoxiao said. After hearing this, Chen Guodong immediately turned around and knelt down in front of Li Xian. Chapter 25 so far. Chen Guodong knelt down in front of Li Xian, in front of so many people. This scene made everyone gasp. Especially Sun Chengming, who had just come to his senses on the stage, almost fainted when he saw this scene. Even Commander Chen knelt down in front of Li Xian. What ability did he have to fight Li Xian? Commander Chen, this gift is too great. Li Xian said this quietly, but he had no intention of helping the other person up. I'm sorry, Mr. Li Xian, I misunderstood you, please forgive my mistake. Chen Guodong said, I was blind before and mistakenly thought you were deceiving my father. I am sorry for that. As long as you can forgive me and heal my father, I will do anything you ask me to do. At this time, Tang Xiaoxiao on the side was also shocked. Is this still my arrogant uncle? He actually knelt down in public. Although my grandfather and uncle had mentioned kneeling down to apologize when they made a bet, my grandfather only asked my uncle to obtain Li Xian's forgiveness. I didn't expect Chen Guodong to be so humble that he would kneel down on his knees in front of almost all the powerful people in Dongju. Get up. At this time, Li Xian finally reached out and helped Chen Guodong up. Considering your filial piety, I accept the apology. Li Xian said. Thank you, Mr. Li. Chen Guodong then stood up with an excited look on his face, not feeling the slightest bit ashamed of kneeling in public. People who saw this scene felt as if they were dreaming. What happened today was truly shocking. Not to mention the matter of Sihai Group, the mere fact that Chen Guodong knelt down in public to Li Xian seemed like a fantasy. This is Chen Guodong, the commander of the South China War Department. He is a man who can make the whole of South China tremble with just one order. No matter how powerful Li Xian is, he is just a businessman, right? Businessmen should be worthless in front of the real powerful people. But Chen Guodong knew that Li Xian in front of him was probably the only person in the world who could cure his father. As long as his father could live a few more years, he would agree even if his life was asked, not to mention kneeling down. Mr. Li Xian, if you can use me, Chen Guodong, please let me know. Chen Guodong promised, as long as I can do it, I will never refuse. Well, you're thoughtful. Let's leave it at that today. Li Xian nodded, indicating that Chen Guodong could leave. After all, Li Xian's idea is to keep a low profile. He doesn't want to be treated like a monkey here all the time. Good. Chen Guodong agreed and then left the scene with Tang Xiaoxiao. Although Tang Xiaoxiao looked unwilling and wanted to stay and watch the fun, she was still forcibly taken away by her uncle. I want to cancel my marriage with Sun Chengming. At this time, Zhao Qingxue came to her senses, grabbed the microphone and shouted in public. He and I haven't gotten married yet, so it can't be considered real. So I declare that I have no relationship with Sun Chengming, let alone being his wife. Suddenly, everyone at the scene looked strange. Indeed, as long as the marriage certificate is not obtained, the marriage cannot be considered real, and Zhao Qingxue can completely return to being single. But does it work? I'm afraid the entire Dongju circle knows about today's drama. Everyone knows what kind of person you, Zhao Qingxue, are. For the sake of money and benefits, she kicked her ex-husband out of the house, and even stabbed him in public after divorce. Now that Sun Chengming has passed away, you, Zhao Qingxue, were the first to distance yourself from him, which perfectly portrays reality. He made a solemn oath just now, but now he turns his back on me. With a woman like this, no man would dare to marry her even if she remains single for her whole life. Zhao Qingxue, you. Phew. Sun Chengming was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of black blood. What happened today was like hell to him. Tap tap tap. However, at this moment, a group of uniformed figures passed through the crowd and quickly came to the front of the stage. Mr. Sun Chengming, we are the Dongju Economic Crime Investigation Team. You are suspected of multiple economic crimes. Please come back with us to assist in the investigation. Hearing this, Sun Chengming's eyes turned black and he completely passed out. Severe punishment will be waiting for him. Take away. These staff members were also very ruthless. Even though the person had fainted, they still did not give him any face and directly carried the unconscious Sun Chengming away. After Sun Chengming was taken away for investigation, the scene fell into silence again. Everyone looked at Li Xian with fear and trepidation. This young man looks inconspicuous, but his methods are extremely domineering. There is no doubt that the people from the Economic Crime Investigation Team would come to the door so quickly. It must have been arranged by Li Xian. Secretly, many people present memoized the name Li Xian and labeled him as not to be offended. Well, the wedding is over, so I'm leaving now. At this time, Li Xian slowly stood up and prepared to leave. Boss, wait for me. Luo Jinlong immediately followed. But at this moment, Zhao Qingxue rushed down from the stage and hugged Li Xian's arm. Li Xian, don't leave. I'm sorry, I know I was wrong, can you forgive me and we can remarry? Zhao Qingxue was crying so hard that her eyes were wet, and she looked so pitiful. If you didn't know her, you would really think that she had suffered a great injustice and was begging her husband to come home. Please, give me one more chance. I'll listen to whatever you say from now on. Okay? Zhao Qingxue pleaded, Li Xian, I know you still have feelings for me, right? Let's start over, okay? Forgive you. Start over. A sneer appeared on Li Xian's face, and there was a deep look of disgust in the depths of his eyes. Zhao Qingxue is the best among those who can perform shamelessness to such a level. Yes, Li Xian, no, Mr. Li, please give Qingxue a chance. At this time, Zhao Renfu and Zhang Hualan also rushed over and began to beg. You and Qingxue have been together for 3 years. I believe there must be feelings between you. After all, she is just a child who did something wrong. Zhang Hualan said, Renfu and I were blind before. We apologize to you here. Please give Qingxue a chance. Qingxue was also deceived by someone. She is innocent too. If you can remarry, you will definitely be very happy, okay? Zhao Renfu also pleaded, Boss Li, it's all my fault. If you want to blame someone, just blame me. Give Qingxue a chance to start over. Li Xian listened to the pleas of several people without any fluctuation in his eyes. Let's stop here. We will have nothing to do with each other from now on. Li Xian said lightly, then turned around and left. Chapter 26, An Unusual Woman. After Li Xian left, people at the scene also began to leave. When they came, they were grand and majestic, but when they left, they were desolate and miserable. The guests didn't plan to come forward to say hello and all left silently. After all, the groom of this wedding has been arrested, the bride also denied the marriage, and going up to say hello would risk offending Li Xian. Just like that, the originally lively wedding scene has now become deserted and extremely miserable. In the end, apart from Zhao Qingxue and a few others, only the person in charge of the event remained there. The person in charge hesitated for a while, but finally came up and handed the bill for the on-site layout to Zhao Qingxue. The cost is more than 3 million, but now the Zhao family has to pay for it. Zhao Renfu and his companions searched everywhere, but there was no way they could find anyone from the Sun family at this time. They had all run away long ago. Damn it! Zhao Renfu cursed angrily and then tore the bill into pieces. You want us to pay? Impossible. Go ask Sun Chengming for it. Zhao Renfu was so angry that he could only quickly flee the scene with Zhao Qingxue and Zhang Hualan. This time, the Zhao family was really screwed. If what Luo Jinglong said is true, then the Xinxue group will probably suffer an unprecedented blow. Moreover, this wedding caused such a big fuss that the Zhao family became famous. Due to the commercial influence of the Warren group, it is likely that the Zhao family will find it difficult to survive in Dongju. Sure enough, in the evening of the same day, Xinxue's employees called. It's bad, Mr. Zhao. Dongju Bank just notified us that they will no longer cooperate with us after the 200 million loan expires. Not only will we have to repay these loans, but I'm afraid it will be difficult to borrow money again. What should we do, Mr. Zhao? The company can't hold on any longer. Hearing this, Zhao Qingxue's eyes went dark again and she fainted on the spot. This time, the Zhao family is really finished. The next afternoon, Li Xian was sipping tea leisurely in his residence, feeling so comfortable. Next to him, it was Tang Xiaoxiao who was pouring tea for him. The two of them were talking and laughing, and they were in perfect harmony. Li Xian has extensive knowledge and is not without sense of humor. Although he doesn't like to talk much on weekdays, when it comes to language skills, Li Xian can often make some boring things fascinating. For example, when it comes to the origin of tea, Li Xian uses stories to narrate the love, hate and passion between different varieties of tea. This kind of personification technique fascinated Tang Xiaoxiao, and she looked like an infatuated fan. The reason why Tang Xiaoxiao was making tea for Li Xian here was actually because this tea was sent by Chen Guodong. Since their wedding ceremony ended yesterday, Chen Guodong ordered people to deliver a large number of gifts, including some precious special items. Li Xian naturally accepted it with a smile, especially the top-grade tea Eguinian, which he really liked. After all, he was raised by old man Yi since he was a child, and he has picked up some of his hobbies and habits. Ding dong! At this moment, the doorbell of Li Xian's residence rang. Li Xian was slightly stunned, and was a little confused about who would find this place. After all, not many people knew that he lived here. If it was Luo Jinlong, he would have opened the door and come in without even knocking. I'll help you watch the door. Tang Xiaoxiao jumped up and ran out. But soon, Tang Xiaoxiao was stunned where she was. Why is it you? Tang Xiaoxiao's expression looked a little strange, because the person standing outside the door was Li Xian's ex-wife Zhao Qingxue. I'm here to find Li Xian. Can you let me see him? Please. Zhao Qingxue said with a haggard face and slightly red eyes. Tang Xiaoxiao was a little hesitant and could only turn around and look at Li Xian. Li Xian thought about it for a while, and finally sighed and nodded. Let him in. Li Xian said. Soon, Zhao Qingxue walked in with a pitiful face. But the moment she saw Li Xian, it was as if the suppressed emotions could no longer be suppressed, and she began to sob non-stop. Li Xian, I know I was wrong, can you please forgive me? Zhao Qingxue said, now that Sun Chengming has been arrested, I am also burdened with debts, and the Xinxue group is finished. I know it's impossible for us to be together, but I really hope you can forgive me, otherwise I really don't know how to continue living. So I came here today to sincerely apologize to you, and I hope you can forget my past stupidity. Hearing this, Li Xian's expression did not show the slightest ripple. He said, I've already said that there is no connection between us anymore. We will just be strangers from now on. Is it important whether I forgive you or not? It's important. It's really important to me. Zhao Qingxue covered her chest and said, you were so kind to me and polite to me, but I did such a ridiculous thing. If you can't forgive me, I will be condemned by my conscience for the rest of my life. Li Xian sneered, okay Zhao Qingxue, I tell you the truth, we no longer have any relationship, I won't take you seriously. So you can rest assured that I will not use any means to deal with you, including your Zhao family and Xinxue group. Really? Zhao Qingxue's eyes brightened when she heard this. Li Xian nodded, really, please leave. Good. Zhao Qingxue stood up, wiped her tears, nodded to Li Xian, and strode out of the villa. For her, Li Xian's promise was enough, and this was also the purpose of her coming here today. This woman is not simple. Looking at Zhao Qingxue's back, Tang Xiaoxiao said with emotion. Har har, after 3 years of getting along with her, I've already seen that she's not simple. Li Xian said lightly. He knows how to take advantage of his strengths and act pitiful to achieve his goals. His acting skills are really top-notch. Tang Xiaoxiao said. Li Xian nodded, so although the Xinxue group is facing a crisis, with her methods, I'm afraid it can still be revived. But this has nothing to do with me. Let her fend for herself. And the fact was just as Li Xian thought. As soon as Zhao Qingxue walked out of the villa, her originally pitiful expression immediately turned into indifference. She just picked up the phone and made a call. Please help me make an appointment with the person in charge of the bank. I, Zhao Qingxue, want to talk to him in person. Also, notify the company's board of directors to hold a meeting in an hour and prepare to activate the reserve funds. Shortly after Zhao Qingxue left, Tang Xiaoxiao also stood up and said goodbye, preparing to go home to help prepare dinner. Because the two families lived very close to each other, Li Xian did not stand up to see them off. However, what was unexpected was that as Tang Xiaoxiao walked such a short distance back home, several figures quietly followed her. Chapter 27. Is it that serious? It was already around 5 in the afternoon. Tang Xiaoxiao skipped towards home. Today she and Li Xian were alone together for the entire afternoon, which made her feel more relaxed than ever before, so she was naturally in a very good mood. However, she did not notice that several burly men had quietly approached her from behind. Suddenly, Tang Xiaoxiao's face changed and her body froze in place. Because she felt at least 2 pistols pressed against her back and waist. Don't move, a cold voice came. Tang Xiaoxiao looked relatively calm. After all, she was born into a war family. Her parents, uncle, and grandfather were all members of the war department. So naturally, Tang Xiaoxiao, who was influenced by her surroundings, also learned the skill of remaining calm in the face of emergencies. Who are you and what do you want to do? Tang Xiaoxiao asked. He, just come with us. The other party said with a sneer. Tang Xiaoxiao said, you are breaking the law, do you know that? And do you know who I am? Fuck. I don't care who you are. The other party sneered and said, I'm just playing for my life, why would you put on airs with me? If you don't cooperate, tut, I see you're so pretty, you might do something. Tang Xiaoxiao frowned and started thinking quickly. I have only been in Dongju for a short time, so it is impossible for me to have any enemies, so these people are obviously coming for my uncle or grandfather. If that's the case, since the other party dares to come, he probably isn't afraid of his own identity. How much money do you make from this job? I can give you 3 times as much. Tang Xiaoxiao said again. Oh, this girl is quite smart, but I'm sorry, you're using your intelligence in the wrong place. The other party sneered, take it away. Soon, Tang Xiaoxiao was forced into the car, and the whole process took less than a minute. Moreover, the Blue Bay Villa district is located in a remote area and there are not many people living here, so this scene was not seen by anyone. Just like that, Tang Xiaoxiao was kidnapped less than 20 meters away from Li Xian and Chen Guodong. Bang! Half an hour later, Tang Xiaoxiao was tied up and taken to an abandoned factory. At this time, there were already quite a few people waiting here. Leading the group was a pale young man, sitting in the center. Next to the young man, there was a middle-aged woman with heavy makeup, who was saying something to him. It was obvious that this young man was the leader of these people. "Prince, the person has been brought here," said the subordinate. The young man in the lead nodded, glanced at Tang Xiaoxiao, and then looked at the heavily made-up woman beside him. "Is it her?" the man asked. "Yes, Prince, it's her." The woman immediately said, "We have been secretly investigating for a few days. This woman appears most often around Li Xian. We will definitely force him to commit a crime." Li Xian? After hearing this, Tang Xiaoxiao finally realized that this group of people came to capture her just for Li Xian. Speaking of which, Li Xian has indeed been staying at home rarely during this period of time. The only people he interacts with are Luo Zhenlong and Tang Xiaoxiao. In comparison, Tang Xiaoxiao is naturally much easier to deal with. From now on, it seems that the other party is not aware of her true identity and just regards her as an important person around Li Xian. "Liu Yufei, we have already agreed on this." The young man said calmly, "I will help you to seek revenge on that guy named Li Xian, and you have to ask Luo Zhenlong to take out 1 billion to rescue him. I have to be frank with you. I, the Crown Prince, never do business at a loss." Liu Yufei immediately said, "Don't worry, Prince, I have observed it clearly in the past few days. Luo Zhenlong attaches great importance to the guy named Li Xian. As long as we can control Li Xian, Luo Zhenlong will definitely take the money obediently. It's just that this bastard Li Xian hardly ever goes out, so we can only resort to this last resort. We must get this woman first and force Li Xian to show up." Hearing this, the prince nodded lightly and handed a gun to Liu Yufei. "Go, ask her to call Li Xian and ask him to come over." Liu Yufei took the pistol and put it against Tang Xiaoxiao's head with a sneer. "Call now. If you dare to say anything nonsense, I will blow your head off immediately." Liu Yufei said. "Okay, I'll fight you." Tang Xiaoxiao agreed, and the subordinate handed her her cell phone. Just now, when they were controlling Tang Xiaoxiao, they had confiscated her cell phone. Tang Xiaoxiao turned on her cell phone, found Li Xian's phone number and dialed it. "Hello." Li Xian picked up the phone quickly. "Li Xian, I'm in a factory in the eastern suburbs. Come over here, I have something to tell you." Tang Xiaoxiao said. Li Xian on the other end of the phone immediately realized that something was wrong. "Do you have something to confess?" Tang Xiaoxiao would never talk to him like this, there must be something fishy. Li Xian was very smart and immediately said calmly, "Okay, send me the location and I'll be there soon." As soon as the call was hung up, Liu Yufei immediately snatched the phone away and sent the status to Li Xian. He. "Li Xian, you caused me to lose my job and get punished by the Warren Group headquarters. I will make you pay." Liu Yufei sneered. Soon, in just about 10 minutes, Li Xian drove to the destination. Tap tap tap. Li Xian strode in and saw Tang Xiaoxiao tied to a chair. "Is it you?" When Li Xian saw Liu Yufei, he was stunned. It turned out that this Liu Yufei was the HR manager that Li Xian met when he went to Warren Group. It's just that Liu Yufei clamored to fire Li Xian at that time, but was fired by Luo Zhenlong instead, and was ordered to return to the headquarters to accept punishment. Unexpectedly, this woman not only went against the headquarters' wishes, but also held a grudge and attempted revenge. "Yes, it's me." Liu Yufei sneered, "Li Xian, you have hurt me so much, I want to get back everything I lost from you. Is it that serious?" Li Xian chuckled. "What do you think? Do you think it's just as simple as me being fired? You have no idea how terrifying the Warren Group headquarters is." Liu Yufei said coldly, "If I go back, there will be only one result, and that is death. If I run away, there will only be one result, and that is that I will never see the light of day again. Do you think it will be that bad?" After a pause, Liu Yufei scolded. "Li Xian, I'll give you a chance. Call Luo Zhenlong right now and ask him to transfer 1 billion to redeem the hostages. Otherwise, you two will surely die today."